games will try to be extended as the Orioles go after a 4-game sweep against the White Sox here at Camden Yards this afternoon. And for the Orioles, these games obviously have really mattered. They've now pulled within one of that second wild card spot, and maybe before this day is over, the Orioles will be tied for that postseason spot. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. Part of this series against the White Sox has featured perhaps the best series of the season since Brian Roberts' return. Defensively at second base, you could not ask for more than what Brian has given to the Orioles. Take a look at some of the plays that have changed ball games. Having to make the out at second base, helping Scott Feldman. That would end the inning. Another play at first base that would take a runner off in a situation where Feldman was in trouble. He's made tremendous throws. And then he's used the long ball. 2 home runs in the first 3 games of this series, and yesterday helped set up the game winner as Wieters delivered the base hit bottom of the 10th inning. 2 RBIs. The Orioles won it. A 1-run win in extra innings, and for Brian Roberts contributing to all 3 of these W's.
Yeah, and I think the one thing, I mean, you talked about the defense, we talk about the offense, but the other thing, just to see him on the field. I mean, this is a guy that played, 17 games last year, 39 a year before, 58 with all the kinds of injuries. So he's back, and what he brings, the ability to slow the game down. He's always been able to do that. He's a veteran. He understands how to play the game. I mean, this is a tough time of the year. You have a very young ball club. Yeah, they want to win. Now they're saying, well, we're really going to focus on these games. Well, a game here back in April is as important as the one here in September, but I think Brian understands that. He's not going to overswing. And the other thing is, other than Jones and Davis, who leads the league or leads the team in RBIs, he's got the best RBI per at bat. We'll show you that number during the course of the game. He's getting some big hits for him. And the Orioles starting pitching has come around just when they needed it all season long. That has been a struggle, but of late, particularly in this series, yes, it's the White Sox, but look, they're a major league team. They got guys who can hit over there, and the Orioles starters have been able to rest the bullpen and go deep into ball game. Yeah, if you're Buck Showalter, you really get to match up now because those starters are doing it, and it started even in Cleveland. The Orioles would only win 1, but Bud Norris, they got him some early runs. He's going to pitch today. He hasn't really pitched well here, but the Orioles have played well. He's 2-0, ERA almost 7 runs a game, but the Orioles score a ton of runs for him. We'll see if they can do that this afternoon here at Camden Yards. So will it be a 4-game sweep for the Orioles, and will they be in that playoff position by the time this Sunday is over? Well, we're going to see the first part of that when we come back to Camden Yards for Game 4. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you.
Summer weather returning to the Baltimore area, and on this Sunday afternoon there'll be some high clouds. Our train game time temperature is 88 degrees and a little breeze blowing out to left to start. Train celebrating its 100th anniversary by offering irresistible financing. It is hard to stop a train, really hard. Take a look at the starting lineup for the White Sox as they move it around in all of the games in this series. Diaz, Garcia, and Ramirez, Dunn, Keppinger, and Gillespie. Viscaedo, Danks, and Anderson back behind the plate. 4 for 9 homer double. Viscaedo in the first 3 games.
And it's got a report for Bud Norris. Well, they get him on the trading deadline July 31st. This Bud is for you. 4-1 for the Orioles. Slanted left in the respect that lefties have hit him over 300. He's only given up 16 home runs, but 15 against left-handers. So we'll see how that plays out here at Camden Yards. And then more yard work. 2-0, but a 7.16 ERA. But again, the Orioles have scored 23 runs and are going 3-0 in the games he started here. There are the collective numbers. That's Houston and here with the Orioles. But the Orioles got a gifted young pitcher, and he's got a good arm. He can get it up to 95 miles per hour. Loves his slider, an occasional curveball, and an occasional changeup.
He owns an 0-1 record against the White Sox. Has not pitched against them this season. Only career start came in 2013 in June against in Houston when he was tagged for that loss, but not with the Orioles uniform on. And so Norris will get the start here against the White Sox, and the team is 6-1 in the ball games, 7 of them that he has started for the O's on the year. So for the Orioles, they're looking for their 77th win of the season. They come in that wild card race now just a game behind, as the Orioles have been picking up ground. They've gained 3 games in the wild card race in the last 7 games played, due in large part to the problems held on the West Coast by Tampa Bay, as the Rays have lost 3 in a row. They will play their final game in Seattle before they come back. So we are ready to go here. And
then the Indians, who beat the Orioles at the beginning of the week 2 out of 3, they are tied with the Orioles, so they've moved into that wild card race.
The Orioles, last time they had a 4-game sweep, came against Minnesota. It was August of 2011. That's the last 4-game sweep for the Orioles. In 4-game series this year, they've won 3, lost 1, and split 3. And for Robin Ventura's team, they are 9-0 on this 0-9 on this road trip, and in danger of not winning a game on a 10-game road trip. Pitch is taken outside for a ball. Here is Diaz to lead it off for the White Sox. The 1 for 9 in the series for him. And not much hitting has gone on by Chicago against the Orioles, not only in this series but this year, as the Orioles have the 4-2 edge in the season. So the Orioles have already won their 25th series of the year to go 25, 17, and 4 in series games on the season. Diaz with a 1-1 delivery, and he'll swing through that one.
Yeah, one of their, really the table setter. He's 6 more home runs than he hit last year. 9, now 15. 6 for 33. And you can see what he's done against the Orioles. 1 out of 10.
That ball will be fouled away. Is there any juice left in the Chicago team to battle? That's a big question right now. They're making a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors. They sometimes seem to float in ball games. Robin Ventura concerned about that knowing they're completely out of everything, but you still got to battle and go on, and you got to compete, and you want that obviously from a perspective of the manager, and you hope your players feel the same way. But this has been a long, ugly road trip.
Yeah, and of course you go to Boston, then you go to New York. Yankees have been just smoked by the Red Sox, but both of those teams were playing well.
Line drive to left, in place McLeod.
You got the A defense today. McLeod, Gold Glover, Jones with 2, Markakis with 1. So a lot of glitter in the Orioles outfield. Machado, I can't imagine he's not going to win one the way he's played. Hardy won it last year. Flaherty early in the year, he played outstanding defense. Chris Davis, the candidate, not only with all the home runs, but a Gold Glover. And then Matt Wieters has won a couple.
57th game at second base for Flaherty this season. Roberts in the lineup, but he's the DH. And the pitch will be taken for a ball. Garcia at the plate on the year has had a 1 for 8. The switch hitter. Norris's delivery to him will be taken up high for a ball. Keep in mind, as we mentioned, in Norris's starts, he throws about as many first strikes as anybody in the game. He actually tried to cut down on doing that in his last start. So hitters know they're likely to get a first pitch strike, and we'll see how many of these White Sox who are aggressive on the first pitch go after it.
You kind of like that, and of course the meeting would be, hey, Bud Norris throws a lot of first pitch strikes, but if you're Bud Norris and you say, I make my pitches, I stay out of the middle of the plate, that's exactly what you want.
3-0 delivery taken. It'll be in there for a strike. For Norris, hitters 30% of the time are going after first pitches, third highest in the league. Justin Verlander and Jared Parker are 1 and 2. Strike called. Put the bat back in your hand and back into the box he goes.
Yeah, Larry Garcia wants to get on, and right here, right on the corner. That subtle frame job by Wieters, and that one outside though.
So there is the walk surrendered by Norris. 1 on, 1 down.
Well, he throws a lot of fastballs, 58%, average pretty good at 261. Same with his slider. That's his second favorite. And then you see the other ones. You know, cutter doesn't throw it a whole lot, so that's got similar velocity to that fastball. And then the blue is the changeup. It's a work in progress. The average really high at 364, and same with the curveball. I mean, he's primarily a fastball slider guy, and if you're at the plate, you won't be looking for anything other than those 2 pitches.
And here's Alexei Ramirez with the 2 for 8, and back to the bag in a hurry is Garcia. As Norris got a quick toss over there, see if the Chicago team, not scoring runs, wants maybe to try and move runners around on the base paths by trying to steal a couple in this game. Wieters still throwing out base runners at 37%. And a pitch at chopper over Norris's glove. Flaherty's got to go to first. Records the out. Garcia goes to second base. Well, you take a look inside this series. This has been primarily about pitching. On the year, the Orioles have the edge, batting average, distinct edge there. Their runs, they've outscored them 19-14. They've homered the White Sox 9-6 this year. And that 2.36 ERA for the Orioles really outstanding in the 6 games against the White Sox.
Yeah, I mean, you even look at this series. First game was 3-1. Feldman pitches a complete game, 4-0. Orioles hit 3 home runs in each of those first 2 games, and then they have to come up with 2 in the 10th inning to come from behind, or they lose yesterday. So they haven't been walks in the park by any means against the White Sox.
Here's Adam Dunn. He's taken an 0 for 9. He's gone into a real tailspin at the plate. Back in as their designated hitter in the ball game. A couple of hits and 6 at bats lifetime against Norris. 0-1 runner at second base, and the pitch away.
Well, you want to change your lack of offense, get a hit. And of course, Bud Norris wants to keep that from happening. Yeah, he's missed just about every pitch. There's the numbers you were talking about. 2 for his last 30. That's primarily this road trip.
And a big swing and a miss. White Sox have gone 2 for 9 in this series with runners in scoring position, which is not a lot of at bats in those situations because they've not had a lot of people on base. They've got Garcia at second here with 2 down, and a 1-ball 2-strike count on Dunn. Shift on against him, and the pitch will be taken inside for a ball.
Now you go back. I mean, the Thursday night game, there was the 3rd inning, bases loaded, nobody out. And Gonzalez got the acid to bounce into a double play. They got their run. No chances against Feldman. That's how good he was.
Dunn will take that slider, cutter inside, and the count goes full 3-2. Three ball, 2-strike count with 2 down. Garcia with real good speed. Off on contact if there is. He takes off here, and the pitch is there for a strike. It's a swinging strike called by the home plate umpire, Jim Reynolds. And that'll do it in the inning with the runner left on at second. O's lineup when we come back. Try and make it 4 here on this Sunday. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the O's. It will be Roberts, Machado, and Davis, Jones, McLaughlin, Wieters, Markakis, Hardy, and Flaherty. Matt Wieters, a solid series and a real good September underway.
Take a look at our scouting report. So Andre Rienzo, there's only 2 people from Brazil in the big leagues. Jan Gomes did a number with Cleveland. Will this beehive be here in Baltimore? Speed bump. So again, the last 2 games, 12 earned runs, and then enough trying to stop a 9-game losing streak for the White Sox.
And Brian Roberts will go after the first pitch and fouls it away. Hit an inning, surrendered, a lot of walks, and that has been a real problem for this 25-year-old right-hander. And the 0-1 delivery. Roberts will take it. It will miss down low. Ryan continues with the long ball against the White Sox. This series, the 2 for 11, and the 2 hits have been home runs. He's picked up 3 hits this year against the White Sox. They've been home runs. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Roberts. There he is, the leadoff numbers. He's been back in that leadoff spot frequently here in September.
Yeah, very comfortable. Early on in his career, maybe struggled, chased balls out of the zone, but then became the master of working the count, seeing pitches. Typical year for Brian, 30 to 50 stolen bases, home runs probably 14 to 18, 40 to 50, 6 doubles. That was the most he ever hit.
And the delivery to him will be taken to center field. That'll stay up. Diaz is right there, and Roberts is out.
Well, take a look at this defense that did not have a good afternoon yesterday. 101, 2, and 3 errors on the season. Orioles at 41. Visiedo, Diaza, Banks, that is your outfield. Gillespie, Ramirez, Lurie Garcia, and then Jeff Keppinger, the veteran, over first base. And Brian Anderson, we saw him opening night of this series. Left-handed hitting catcher out of Charlotte, AAA, behind the plate for the White Sox.
And here is Manny Machado. And Machado will take the pitch for the strike on the year. Manny's had 5 hits in 20 at-bats against the White Sox as these 2 teams close out their season series today. And the pitch is taken down low for a ball. Manny's added the doubles. He is right now the leader with 47 in the league. He's second in hits with 176 and 8th in runs with 83 times crossing the plate. And the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike on Machado. Rienzo with a 2-1, and he'll come inside, and it goes to 3-1. Take a look at our Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. And you see the doubles leaders with Manny on top in the majors with Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals, and Lowry, Chris Davis, and Yadier Molina. And he walked it. That's what the Orioles will hope for a lot of today. That's 22 walks now in the 39-plus innings.
Well, take a look at Andre Rienzo's pitches. So, the fastball and the cutter, they're pretty much same velocity, a little bit under 300. You could see blue. That's the changeup, so doesn't use it much. 360. Can certainly understand, and then got a big overhand curveball, but they don't hit it very much, but he doesn't throw it over very much. And again, that's one of the problems. It's a difficult pitch to throw, but can be very effective if you can command your other pitches, and I'm not sure that has been the case when you look at the base on balls.
And here is Chris Davis, and Chris will foul it off outside of first base, the major league leader in homers. And he's added to that with a 4 for 12 and a home run here in this series.
Yeah, you look at Rienzo's pitch selection, and when you throws his fastball over 56% of the time, which is low. Curveball's almost the same percentage, which is actually, for a big overhand curveball, not a bad percentage, 50-50, maybe a little bit above that.
0-1 delivery to him. That'll be up high. The Orioles getting wins against lefties in the first 3 games of this series. They're now .500 against left-handers on the season, and finally get a look at a righty in this ball game. Manny Machado over there at first base. All they want is one off the brick. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Sun coming through here. And a swing and a miss on a pitch that was foul tipped into the mitt. And a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Davis here at home, number 1 in the league in home runs in his home yard, and also number 1 in RBIs in a player's home yard. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Pretty good lead at first for Machado. And a breaking ball will get away, but Manny will stay at first base. Anderson chases it down.
Yeah, and Chris having a nice little series. The 3 hits on Friday certainly didn't help. RBI double yesterday. One of those hits on Friday, I mean, a rocket home run down the right field line.
Chasing the Orioles record along with the American League record. Right now, Brady Anderson at 50. All-time team leader in the season. Chris with 48. Throw over again. And you see Manny's extended the lead about as far as you can go. So you get back in with the fingertips on the bag and a belt full of dirt.
Yeah, that's what you kind of like when you have a guy that's 6 out of 13. Not even 50%, and then you have a guy leading the world in home runs, and you're worried more about a guy that's not going to run. That's what you want from a young pitcher.
And Davis will take the pitch. It'll just miss outside. So Chris works it full. A 3 ball, 2 strike count. These are the patient at bats the Orioles are going to need today against Rienzo, who, if he's doing what he's done in his young career at the major league level, is going to throw a lot out of the strike zone. 3-2 delivery. Davis takes it, and he's on with a walk. So the Orioles back-to-back walks with 1 away here in the first inning. You take a look, since he came up, which is the July 30 date, Rienzo has got the highest percentage of walks for innings pitched. Then you got Masterson, Straley, CC Sabathia, and Bud Norris. So you got 2 pitchers in this game who from that date forward have both given up a lot of free passes.
Yeah, he gets called out of their AAA Charlotte, and I mean, he gave up like 12 runs in his last 10 starts. So he was really on a roll, but he pitches a no-hitter. He walks 4 in that game. The game before, he gives up 1 earned run, but he walks 6. So even at the AAA level. But then again, the reason he's in the big league is because of the Rios PV trade, where Jake Petey, one of their starters, he leaves, goes to the Red Sox, and all of a sudden Rienzo gets the call up from AAA.
So the Orioles are going to get an early chance here as Adam Jones stands in. And the delivery taken for a strike.
So there you go. This is what we were talking about. I mean, Chris Davis, second to Cabrera, an RBI every 4 at bats, and Jonesy 100 RBIs or more for the first time. And look at Brian Roberts right behind him. So he's got a lot of clutch hits, and then Wieters, and then Valencia, who's been about as hot as anybody in this lineup.
0-1 delivery on the way to Jones. That'll be foul back. Yesterday, of course, the Orioles worked their way through an incredible 2 for 18 with runners in scoring position and still won the ball game as Matt Wieters came up, finally got that big hit in the 10th inning. Orioles had a lot of chances in that game, but just could not get the big hit early. But in the end, they got the one they needed. It was their catcher, who did not start the ball game yesterday, who got it done. The Orioles in this series are just 3 for 26 with runners in scoring position against the White Sox. 0-2 delivery and a breaking ball that will be taken outside by Jones, 1-2. Adams had a good year against the White Sox with 7 hits and 24 at bats, a home run. He's picked up 3 RBIs against them. And you've got a young pitcher on the mound. You've got a ball club that's got their heads down a little bit. Boy, you really would like to jump on both early. That'll be fouled away. It stays at 1-2.
And there's your pitch to hit 90 in the middle of the plate. Count certainly still in Andre Rienzo's corner, and did it agree because he's got a couple of balls to work with, so he could pitch around the strike zone. I mean, Tampa Bay, they went 2-7 on their 9-game road trip. They're hitting 150 with runners in scoring position. You do not win on a regular basis if your numbers are way down.
1-2 count on Adam Jones, and a look back to second base.
So again, this kid's worried more about the base runners that aren't going to be stealing than the guys at the plate. The Orioles got to like that.
Manny Machado, the lead runner. being held by Garcia, the second baseman, close to the bag.
Yeah, he's just pretty much in his normal position.
1-2 delivery, and he went after one away, and Riendo will get the first strikeout of the ball game, and there are two down.
Well, there's your quality pitch, and that's what he was looking for. A little cutter. Watch this ball, starts on the outside corner, and Adam thinks it's going to stay there, and you can just see him pull down, so you don't really see the spin. But again, that ball evades the bat head because of the movement and location.
And Nate McLouth back in against the right-hander. Nate hitting .286 against righties, .202 against the lefties. 2 on now, and there are 2 down. And McLouth will take the pitch inside for a ball. Well, Nate happy to be back in there. He's had the 1 for 6 with all these left-handed pitchers. He's had to wait his turn getting back into the lineup. Brian Anderson with the signs for the infield here.
And it seems like every time they get a lead, as they did on Thursday or Friday, Buck Showalter rushes them back in for defense. He's a plus defender. Now they have Chris Dickerson's back on the active roster, another plus defender.
And the pitch taken. Nate McLouth could play today. One simple reason. It's not because of the right-hander. Reason is this. Take a look. Nate McLouth, Michigan, Notre Dame. Michigan won 41-30. He's from Muskegon, Michigan. What do you think? But Showalter said, had Michigan lost that game to Notre Dame, probably Nate would have to have set because the grieving would still be going on. He puts the ball in the air to center. Michigan, almost for you. It's hauled in by Diaza. And that will retire the side as Nate will try and kind of wipe out the football memories there. All good ones for him, and concentrate on baseball today. Miller time later in our ball game today, brought to you by Miller Lite. Yankees, of course, will be coming in for a 4-game set if they are still standing. They play the Red Sox again today. Tomorrow night, opener of 4, Chris Tillman against CC Sabathia, Miguel Gonzalez, Ivan Nova, Scott Feldman against Andy Pettit, and Wei-Yin Chen and Dave Huff. That's the scheduled pitching rotations for the 4-game series against New York. Gotta love that redhead, huh?
Yeah, the Yankees given up 34 runs in 3 games against the Sox.
As I said, the Red Sox are reaching in and tearing the heart, twisting it and pulling it out.
And then some.
And then some. Ground ball will go to short. Hardy, Keppinger's ground ball on one pitch. Take a look at our Chevrolet League leaderboard. It's brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. You see the best winning record when allowing 3 or fewer runs. Tampa Bay on top, then the A's, Jays, O's are 55-12. 4 has been the magic number for the Orioles this year. When they score 4 or more, they get those wins. And when they allow 3 or fewer, fits right in. 55-12 mark. But Showalter's team into the surge. And the pitch is taken away for a ball by Gillespie. Gillespie's got a 5-game hit streak coming in, 2 for 4, including what looked like a game-winning home run in the ball game yesterday in the 10th inning when he came off the bench and hit a pinch hit home run to give the White Sox the lead in the top of the 10th, only to have Matt Wieters, the guy behind him now, literally come up with the base hit that would win the ball game.
Well, he's got a little bit of a pop, and he got a hanging slider to hit and drilled it
up the middle, and fortunately for Norris, didn't catch him, I don't think.
Well, again, when you look at Connor Gillespie, he's a first-year player, so he came up, he hit real well early, and then the league adjusts, more breaking ball. But right here, 2-0, he's looking for something and trying to hit it right back up the middle, fastball away. Not a horrible pitch. Take a look right here. I mean, it's outside corner, but he's looking for the fastball. That's what he's supposed to do. And then, boy, the Orioles get lucky because that almost got Bud Norris in the right ankle. A little skip out of the way, or a little hop and skip.
So a runner on. That'll be hit number 1 in the ball game. Visaedo coming to the plate. He is the hot bat right now. And he will take the pitch for his strike. He had a homer and a double in the ball game yesterday. He's 17 for his last 46. That's a .370 batting average over 13 games. 7 doubles, 4 homers, 17 RBIs in the last 31. 0-1 delivery, and he'll foul that one off the other way.
Yeah, hitting over 300 over the last 32 games, so that those numbers, you can expand them a little bit long. You get the sense that after hitting 25 home runs, they've adjusted. Now he's trying to adjust. He's a big, strong guy.
Visaedo getting the start in left field. Gillespie off first base, 0-2 delivery. He'll foul that one the other way. Derek Jeter's not in the lineup today for the Yankees against the Red Sox. He had that ankle scan, and it came back negative after he came out of the 6th inning in yesterday's game. Didn't feel very good. And you really got to wonder now what's in store for Jeter rest of this month and maybe his career. 0-2 count. Visaedo will take the pitch up and into him. That'll go to 1-2.
Well, you would imagine that he'll try to get well, and because they kind of have a standing agreement that since Derek will never really tell them the truth, they always do the MRIs now. And the reason is they want to know if there's really any inflammation. And
that ball's going to go into the gap. Jones is going to have a very long run. Gillespie has got good speed. He'll be waved home, and he'll score easily. Into second base. It will be a double and an RBI for Visaedo. And the White Sox get on the board here in the 2nd inning and take a 1-0 lead.
Now, so you get into some hitters count. So you defend the guy, and he got ahead, but then he got it back to being even, and then he just throws a belt-high fastball. Good fastball hitter. Came out of Cuba being able to hit this pitch. You can see it's in the middle of the plate. They're around in right center, so therefore it's going to find the gap. So behind Gillespie, he singled, and he scores to make it 1-0.
Boy, what a hot bat he's got going. Visaedo out there at second base, 48 RBIs on the season for him, and his 2nd of the season against the Orioles. Now that'll bring up Jordan Danks. Danks has not had a hit against the O's this year with the 0 for 5, and he will foul that one back. They've loaded this lineup with the lefties for the obvious reason. Left-handers hit .302 against Norris. Right-handers hit only .242. And 15 home runs have been hit by the lefties.
Out of the 16 he's thrown. One thing that Jordan Danks has to do, we talked about Dunn. You want to change your fortunes, whether you're scoring or not. Get a hit. 1 for 18 with runners in scoring position.
There's a wave.
Yeah, there's the slider.
Danks with runners in scoring position has had 1 hit in 18 at bats. Mind another call up on this team that's loaded with call ups, players they want to take a look at. 0-2 count. And the ball will be put up in the air to left field. Very high sky, and it'll be hauled in by McLeod. Danks retired, 2 down, runner at second. You can win a hitting lesson with Adam Jones. Just join Masson's Touch 'em All rewards for your chance to win the grand prize. Go to massonsports.com to sign up. Another one of the young players is Brian Anderson. Got his first start with the White Sox against the Yankees on the 5th of this month. Threw out 21%, playing at AAA ball, where he hit just .224 in 64 games. Anderson batting ninth with a left-hander, so in there against Norris. 2 down. And the pitch is in there for a strike.
Yeah, he really took a lot of pitches on Thursday night. Got himself in some hitters counts and then made a big mistake. Hit the ball to Manny Machado. Hit it very sharply. Manny picked it. So no base hit for Brian.
0-1 delivery to him, and that will be inside. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Bud Norris on the year, a 10-10 record, 4.01 ERA, with the Orioles 4-1 and an ERA of 4.28. So the ERA is actually a little bit higher, but so are the win totals. Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way, and he got it in on him, and it's foul back. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Norris and Feldman trying to prove to be big differences for this Orioles team. The acquisitions for just the kind of run that the Orioles are making right now. And so far so good, as Feldman certainly came on and threw a gem with that first complete game for the Orioles on the year. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. That'll be outside. Teased him with 1, 2-2. Norris up to 166 innings worked total on the year. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and he was headed to the dugout. Well, called a little bit inside.
This is not a pitcher's strike zone from Jim Reynolds, because this slider is pretty much belt high in the middle of the plate. It sweeps over the middle of the plate. It's not where you catch it. I mean, that was a ball that was in most of the time it's called this afternoon. Looks like it's going to be a tiny strike zone.
Here's the 3-2 delivery on the way, and a ball put high in the air to shallow right field. And Markakis will move underneath it and put it away. White Sox pick up a run on 2 hits, no errors. They leave 1 on, and the White Sox have the early lead. There's a summer pitcher. Paul Trovinger, it's your day. Paul's already won $500 for being selected. You get $100 more for every Orioles hit during our game, plus an extra $500 for any Orioles home run in the 5th inning. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery Hit a Big contestant, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. Sunny day and summer-like weather expected for the coming week with the Yankees coming in. Good crowd on hand again for the Orioles here on this Sunday afternoon. We'll be sure to call the National Football League and let them know that the fans are coming out in great numbers to watch the Orioles. Here's the delivery to Wieters, a ground ball. I say that because Buck Showalter has on a daily basis reminded us that the National Football League called from their offices apparently in New York to the Orioles to check on the attendance the night the Ravens played their first football game. And why, Buck wondered, why would the NFL be concerned about that? Here's the 0-1 delivery to Wieters, and the pitch will be taken outside. Matt now, the first catcher since Chris Hoyles. They have 3 plus 20 homer seasons. Hoyles did it 92, 93, and 96. Matt has done it for 3 consecutive seasons, and he's the first Orioles catcher to do that. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Jim Reynolds is noted as being an umpire who perhaps has a strike zone that would favor the pitchers. We'll see if that holds up here in the ball game today. And again, this is just these are generalizations that come from the players and teams that keep track of umpires.
And for Rienzo, it's going to be difficult because he's all over the place, and we'll see how that plays out. And if you get a guy that supposedly has that rep, a lot of times you don't get the pitches if the glove is on the outside corner and you hit the inside corner. But if you can go where the glove is, you can encourage umpires to call pitches strikes.
Wieters will go for that one to short on a big hop. Ramirez. He makes the throw over. Let's open up our Major League Notebook. Take a look at our East Winds page. The Rays have seen enough of the West Coast. They've lost 7 of 9 on the current road trip and have lost 11 of their last 14. They come home after the game today. The Red Sox last 4 games against the Yankees and one prior to. They've scored 54 runs, 17 home runs, and have had 64 hits. The Yankees, the first American League team to lose 3 straight at home when they've scored 8 or more runs in each game. They have done that in the series against Boston. And by the way, those numbers for 4 games for the Red Sox, not a Red Sox franchise record. Red Sox record was set in 1950 in a 4-game series where they scored 65 runs in 4 games. Nick Markakis, and he will take the pitch up high.
Yeah, the immediate problem for the Yankees, other than playing the Red Sox today, is their bullpen. Robertson's got a shoulder problem. Logan's got an elbow.
And a tapper back to the mound. Renzo making the play. Little lob toss, almost a little too little. Markakis out of there.
Sean Kelly with a tricep problem. Got a job at Chamberlain and getting lit up. All kinds of injury problems as you get into the last 20 or so baseball games. And that's one of their strengths.
Yep, was.
Yeah.
Red Sox have jumped out to a 1-0 lead early in the ball game in New York. Here is J.J. Hardy. Orioles shortstop, 2 down and nobody on. And Rienzo's pitch will be in there for a strike. Home run hitting shortstop, 4 for 11 in the series, and he has added a home run in this series. Only one he's had against the White Sox on the year. JJ's 4 for 23 against Chicago pitching this season. One ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Foul and stays that way. Gillespie takes it off the grass in foul territory.
JJC is the first high cutter. Felt high, just tries to jump on it. Well, you can be effectively wild. Well, we've already seen 89 to 92. Big curveball, cutter. The big cutter, it was a clutch pitch. A couple of walks got Adam Jones to strike out. So he may be all over the place, but if he does throw enough strikes, may not be in there long, but he could be effective.
Ball in the air to center field, turning around Diaza back near the warning track, and he will put it away with 1 foot on the track. And Rienzo retires the side in order. We completed 2 here at Camden Yards with the White Sox on top 1-0. Florida, home of Orioles spring training, is also a destination for culinary adventure. From the fresh local seafood to an array of Zagat-rated restaurants. You can learn more. Go to Sarasota.SavorSarasota.com. If you really want to enjoy it in Sarasota and you're lucky, you can rent a boat there. Take a boat and just go on the Intercoastal. There are restaurants all up and down the Intercoastal. Great places to go to lunch, dock the boat, get off, have some great grouper sandwiches or gator bites or whatever you like, and back in the boat and head home.
I'm getting hungry.
I'm always hungry. That's a problem. We go to the third inning. And here's Diaz at top of the order, who flied out his first time up. Jim Reynolds says he went around on the check swing and a strike on Diaz. Garcia and Ramirez will be coming to the plate. The White Sox, with the 9-game losing streak, have already had one streak where they lost 10 in a row this year. They have never had a season in which they have had 2 10-game losing streaks in the same season. If the Orioles can get the win today, that will be the case. And the pitch is taken for a strike, and it goes to 1-2. White Sox are right now on course to obviously have one of the worst seasons that they have ever had. Last time they had a season like this was back in 1976. They won 64 and lost 97. They're going to have to win a few games to avoid losing 100 this year. They could have one of those triple-digit loss years. 1-2 delivery on the way, and Norris will come inside with it, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Diaz with a 1-for-4, the only times that he has faced Norris. Career high 15 home runs. Ground ball towards second. Flaherty will get over, make the scoop, and the play. The Orioles do indeed host the Yankees for this big 4-game series beginning tomorrow. So buckle back up and paint the park orange for this big 4-game set. You save if you get your tickets in advance. 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com. See what the standings are when all the day's play is done. The Orioles, of course, have a chance to move into a tie for that second wild card spot. Texas and Tampa Bay are the 2 wild card teams at the moment. Cleveland tied with the Orioles, just 1 game behind that second wild card spot. Yankees are 2.5, so they're by no means are they out of it, even with the deluge they've taken against the Red Sox. And a swing and a miss. Garcia really late on that one.
Yeah, well, Cleveland's played well enough to have pulled within 5 of the Tigers. You get a 3-game win and a 3-game loss, and that'll get interesting over in the American League Central.
And they play each other.
Yeah.
Pitch will be taken away for a ball. And just so you don't forget while you're watching the standings, don't count out Kansas City. They are kind of a team that has snuck back into this thing. They're 3.5 games out of the second wild card spot. 1-2 delivery and a swing and a miss. Norris gets his second strikeout.
Now you try to read the bat. Where's the bat head when you're throwing your fastball as you get to 2 strikes? He was late. This is the way you pitch somebody. Not only does he make a great pitch, it's the selection of what you throw. 92. He chased, not even close to making contact.
Cleveland's playing interleague baseball. 4th inning, the Mets have a 1-0 lead on them. And the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Ramirez grounded out his first time up. 282 average. Their solid shortstop. 5 hits, 21 at bats this year against the Orioles. Norris will bring the pitch in, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Norris trying to remain efficient in the game, up to 49 pitches. 1-1 delivery gets him to swing the ball away.
Yeah, they had about, I think 19 or 20 of those in the first inning. So he's been a little more efficient. Yeah, when you play for a team, and I've played for a lot of great teams here in Baltimore, and always had pretty good offensive ball clubs. Just figure out how you can get deep into the game.
Chopper, that's going to be a tough play. Over to get it, Hardy. Gloves it, spins, throws, no. Too much speed, and Ramirez, despite the great effort by Hardy, is on with an infield single.
Yeah, kind of a Baltimore chop, and long way to go. Nice range, but Ramirez runs too well. And he'll now take his 29 stolen bases with a couple of outs down to first.
Shift moved here with Hardy going over to the other side of second. Flaherty out into right field. Dunn struck out his first time up. There are 2 down with a runner on at first base. And the pitch taken for a strike.
Yeah, really, that could change with one swing, but whatever you throw Dunn, it just seems like he's off it. Cutters, maybe a little late on the fastball, but does have 30 home runs.
Pitch will be taken up and in. Dunn has struck out 162 times. He is 4th in the league. Carter of Houston up to 189, the leader. Chris Davis 2nd, 171, tied with Mike Napoli. And then comes Dunn. And a lob toss over to first base, and Ramirez back to the bag.
Yeah, you can strike out and still be very productive. Napoli with what, 87, hit a couple home runs yesterday. Big grand slam a couple of nights ago.
1-1 delivery on the way, and a strike taken on the inside corner. Against Norris, base stealers 5 out of 19.
Yeah, it's almost like Robin Ventura, who's managing the White Sox, because you do have speed. So I thought that number, because we saw him pick somebody off in Cleveland, second base, really snap throws. I mean, he's very athletic on the mound. So that number's high to me. But then again, he hasn't pitched the whole year with Matt Wieters behind the plate.
2 ball, 2 strike count. 1-0 lead early in the ball game. The White Sox 3 hits. The Orioles have zeros across still. 2-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to be foul back. And Dunn hanging in, looking for one he can drive. This has not been a ballpark where he's been able to pick up very much. He's got a 137 average here at Camden Yards and 1 home run.
Boy, how surprising is that? The way he can hit it out anywhere.
He's been held down by Oriole pitchers over the years. And that will come inside. Norris in on the fists again, and the count goes full 3-2. Ramirez will be running. Davis informs Norris he's going to play behind the runner. Dunn with a 2 for 7 lifetime off Norris. And another one foul back, and there's what you were talking about, Joey's. That's a pitch he could drive, and he just can't get it.
No, and you know, against Feldman, I mean, Scott changed speeds with his cut fastball so well. Curveballs at any counts, it's something that Bud doesn't do. But what we have seen him do, and you can see those pitch counts, 19, 18, 21. Man, that's what the White Sox want. You want a guy that's actually pitched pretty well, but you want him out of the ball game. And try to get him out maybe the 5th or 6th.
Runner going, and he struck him out again. Norris gets the strikeout. 2 of them have been against Dunn. Base runner left on. White Sox 1, Orioles 0. Award winners who are recognized before the game today. Henry Urrutia, the top minor league players with the team. Mike Wright, top minor league pitcher. Anthony Corona with the Community Service Award. Gary Kendall for player development got the award. And Dave Jennings, the Scout of the Year award. Those are the award winners. And there they are prior to the ball game today, receiving recognition from the ball club. And well deserved. The leaders of the future for the Orioles.
Yeah, Pat Wesley, trainer from Frederick. He was the trainer of the year. So you always need your trainers. You never want to go anywhere without the trainer.
Flaherty puts the ball up in the air to shallow right. Second baseman Garcia will make the catch, and Ryan Flaherty's out on a couple of pitches here in the third.
Yeah, nice pitch. So Rienzo struggled, as we told you, 12 earned runs his last two starts. You would never know it from today. A couple of young fans urging the Orioles to get on the board, along with their starting pitcher, Bud Norris.
So Rienzo getting the first out. Bit of a problem for him in his previous starts, 7 of them. 66% of leadoff batters retired. Here is Brian Roberts. Roberts shows bunt. Brian flying out to center field, his first time up. Roberts is the DH in the ball game today for the Orioles. In at third base, Gillespie. Pitch will be taken inside. Danny Valencia's hot streak has really added to the Oriole numbers from the DH spot, where the Orioles have had their problems this year and have gone in search of help. Down to first. That is a fair ball. Rolls into foul territory. Danks in the corner. Roberts on his way to second. Throw will not be in time. A stand-up double. Brian Roberts.
Really swinging well and smart hitter. You can see 9th double of the year. Home runs to the last 3 games. 2-0. Rienzo's got to throw a strike. He's got to lead. And watch him be waiting for this fastball. It's like a bonus. You get to look for your pitch. He's all over it, right over the bag. First base umpire Bob Davison. Balkin Bob gets out of the way, and that ball gets down in the corner for a double.
So the Orioles get the potential tying run on with 1 down. Manny Machado drew a walk his first time up and drills it. Great stop. Got to try and tag him, and got him. Gillespie on Roberts, as Brian thought that ball was going to go through, but Gillespie made a diving stop, and then with Roberts coming right at him, ran to him, got him out of the baseline anyway, but got the tag on him.
Yeah, so this doesn't look like the team that made 3 errors yesterday. I mean, a great snag and then very heads-up play.
When Gillespie gets the job done at third, that ball was really tattooed by Manny Machado. And all Manny will get is a fielder's choice out of it.
Yeah, Houston has the most errors with 105. The White Sox, as we mentioned, made 3 yesterday to get to 103, but a lower fielding percentage.
Chris Davis will put that one up in the air the other way, and that is a foul ball. He too drew a walk his first time to the plate. Chris closing in on the 300 mark in average. Hitting at 297 right now. Cabrera still chasing the Triple Crown mark, leading in average and RBIs, and he's 5 behind Chris Davis in home runs. Cabrera's been on that 43 for a while.
Yeah, he's got the injury factor. All kinds of things going on. Yep.
Legs, abdomen,
yeah, right, yeah,
arms.
Exactly. Yeah.
But he's playing.
Yeah, started with that hip injury and then
back in. Manny Machado has staked himself to a pretty good lead both times. He's been over to first base in this ball game. Oh, 2 the count. Renzo's pitch will be way up high. 1-2 on Chris Davis. Orioles long ball, of course, has been the source of so many runs this year, and of the last 22 runs the Orioles have scored, 18 have come via the home run. As the Orioles continue on top of the majors, 192 homers. And a swing and a miss. And the second strikeout for Rienzo. No runs despite a leadoff double and one left on. White Sox lead. Masson is brought to you by Chapin Davis Investments. Chapin Davis providing investments that can produce income for your retirement plan. Call to learn more, 1-800-222-3246, or go to chapindavis.com. And by Hyundai, new thinking, new possibilities. 88 degrees at the start of the ball game. Fortunately for all concerned, there have been high clouds floating around today, which has kept that sunlight as indirect.
Yeah,
for the most of it.
Yeah, the weekend was spectacular, and then supposed to get a little bit warmer day, drop tomorrow, and then get back into the 90s.
Got to be getting close to about the last spree of 90s weather, one would think. Here is Jeff Keppinger, and the pitch by Norris outside. We've gone through three. The White Sox 1-3-0. The Orioles 0-1-0. Each team has left three on base. Norris a walk and three strikeouts. Rienzo, he's had a walk and a couple of strikeouts. Two walks, two strikeouts. Keppinger grounded out his first time up. One delivery to him. That's ticky-tack down the line. That's going to be a fair ball right off the chalk and into the corner. Nate McLouth will play it on the rebound, and it's a lead-off double. First lead-off man on in the ball game for Chicago.
Yeah, I guess in retrospect, that's the first changeup of the day. Look where it is. Inside middle. Speeds up the bat. And it's not that you're always going to give up base hits. It's when you're playing a guy to go the other way and you hang a changeup, it's not only a single, sometimes it's a double. So very good pitch to hit. And Jeff Keppinger does not miss it. And it'll be very interesting when you're struggling for runs how they'll play this, even though you do have a lefty up.
The Orioles are playing it defensively, expecting the bunt, with Gillespie coming to the plate with nobody out. Manny Machado and Davis both positioning for the bunt. Gillespie does not show bunt, takes it for a ball.
I can't imagine that Robin Ventura is going to do that. He's got a left-handed hitter. He can work the count in his favor, hit a rocket up the middle, pinch hit home run. It looks like he can pull the ball a little bit, which is what you'd like to do here. Get a ball to the right side, either get him over, get him in.
1-0 delivery. He'll get him over in the short hop and maybe get on. Flaherty trying, no chance. An infield hit for Gillespie as Flaherty took that one off the chest. And at least the runner from second could not move up. 2-1.
Now, well, this is again a young hitter looking fastball and then hits a BB. So a nice play, and I'm not sure this was a very wise throw, even though it's very, very accurate.
So the White Sox threatening.
It's one of those situations where obviously you don't want to face this guy as hot as he's been, but again, if you can make a pitch, let him run that well, get him to hit a ball on the ground, that would be the slider. and take your chance with the best defense in baseball.
Visaedo. So an early test for Norris as he faces their hottest hitter in the lineup. Visaedo got the RBI in the second inning when he picked up a double. Now he's got Keppinger and Gillespie on with nobody out here in the fourth. 5 hits for the White Sox. And a swing and a miss and a ball breaking down and away. White Sox as a team 258 with runners in scoring position. They've been down in the bottom third in that department for most of the year. They are 10th in the American League at the moment. 1 ball, 1 strike count. And a pitch away that he will foul away. Visaedo this year 288 with runners in scoring position. White Sox trying to go home with a win and not a 10-game losing streak. That's what's at stake for them. And it has been a bit of an embarrassment to these games on the road. They've been outscored 2-1.
Yeah, they also threw it an 8-game losing streak to go along with that other 10.
And that's fouled away. They've only hit 204 coming into this game on the road trip.
Well, and I'm sure their manager, who's quite a hitter himself and Gold Glove winner, Robin would say, hey, Jeff Mano, the hitting instructor, all it takes is, we've seen it today, get a big hit or 2 and then get the pitching you've had. They really haven't pitched that poorly in this series.
Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and he got him to go after, 1 down and in the dirt, and gets the strikeout in a big 4th K.
Man, how do you do that? You get ahead. So he gets the count 1-1. He throws a great slider, foul ball, and then the perfect slider. Even if he puts this ball into play, it's probably going to be a double play ball. Perfectly executed down and away. One of those pitching meeting pitches. How are you going to pitch him? He's hot. Up and in, low and away.
Jordan Danks flied out his first time up. 2-on-1 down now. And that's going to go to right field for a base hit. At third, Keppinger's going to be waved. Nope, now stopped. Joe McEwing wanted to draw the throw, so he had the windmill going to bring him home and then put the stop sign up as Markakis came up with it cleanly. Bases loaded, 1 away.
Now a little high slider speeds up the bat of Danks. He's going to hit it on the nose. This is very similar to what Wieters got to hit for the game winner. So right here, Keppinger does not get a good jump, and then they just put the stop sign up as they should.
So the base is loaded with 1 out. And Brian Anderson coming up, not going to test the iron of Markakis. Sox now 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position, double and 2 singles in the inning. Anderson flied out to right. The Orioles will look for the double play. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Norris has held opposing hitters this year with runners in scoring position to a .253 average. Decent. He's kind of pitched first strike or first ball. Hasn't mattered much. It's .267 if he gets the first strike, .270 if he doesn't. Pitch is there. He gets the first 2 on this one, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, that .253 is about 3 points lower than the league average. So, like you said, it's not a spectacular number, but it's certainly within hand. Needs to make a pitch here, though.
Anderson, 0-2, the uncatcher. And we'll take it, and he's gone.
Yeah.
Norris gets 2 strikeouts in the inning, 5 in the game.
Boy, does he get pitched to. Robin Ventura going, boy, I'd like to have seen him get the bat off his shoulder, but this is a perfectly thrown pitch. Down and away. This is what pitching's all about. Make your pitches. And we've seen it this inning. When he's made bad pitches, they've gotten some hits. When he's made good ones, he's gotten the outs.
So the bases remain loaded, but now there are 2 down. And the top of the order, Diaza, who has flied out and grounded out in the ball game. Norris trying to get out of this inning. And the pitch will be up high for a ball. Diaza's had a 3 for 9 with the bases loaded this year. No grand slam, 1 double. And obviously a key moment in the ball game with the White Sox leading 1-0. 1-0 delivery. 2-0.
Yeah, nice little eye there. You chase that pitch, but Norris gets back into a pitcher's count. 2-0. Diaz can pretty much hit on his terms.
Keppinger double at third. Gillespie had the single at second. Danks a single at first. 2-0 delivery. Diaz on a good pitch. 2-1. Kept it down, and he went right over the top of it.
Now, he really has a good fastball when he stays back. You can see when he gets up in the zone, all he does is not stay over the rubber long enough. Arm can't catch up, but when he sinks everything, exploding fastball.
2-1 delivery. That's there in the inside corner. 2-ball, 2-strike count. You saw Diaz leaning out, looking for a pitch away, and it came back in on him.
Yeah, that 2-1 slider in a hitter's count sets up this hole at bat. He has no idea what's coming.
2-2, 2 down, bases loaded. Diaz 3-2. Norris the sign. Runners go. 3-2. That's going to be knocked down. Flaherty can't find the handle. And a run will score. He saved at least another run, but might have been able to record the out if he could have gotten the ball out of the glove cleanly. White Sox have a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, a little 3-2 slider, and again it gets hit right on the nose. I mean, tremendous range to even get to this ball, but ball's in the glove and the transfer. Very difficult to do sometimes from your knees. And that's going to get Billy Castro, Oriole pitching coach, out. So a couple of almost plays by Ryan Flaherty. Two very difficult ones. Flagged him down, just couldn't quite get a handle on him. But you're right, it does save him a run.
Base hit credited to Diaz on that, and he picks up the RBI to give the White Sox the 2-0 lead, his 57th of the year. He and Visaedo have the runs batted in. Bill Castro has his conversation with Norris. Pitch counts up to 79.
Yeah, he's usually right around a little bit under 17 pitches per inning. So today, in that first inning, had a lot to do with, and then he continued with kind of inefficient second and thirds.
So that will bring Garcia to the plate. Leori Garcia, and the pitch outside for a ball. He has walked and struck out. A lot of chances coming today for this White Sox team. They're 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Coming into the game, they not had many chances. They were 2 for 9 on the first 3 games. 1-0 delivery is there for a strike from Bud Norris.
Now Garcia now is 2 for his last 19 on this trip, and then over the course of this year he's only 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position. T.J. McFarland getting loose for the Orioles. I don't want this game to get out of hand.
1-1 delivery on the way, and a swing through. Gillespie on at third, Danks on at second, Diaz at first base. 1-2.
Garcia out of the Rangers organization, came over in the Alex Rios trade.
Here's the 1-2 delivery to him. That will miss outside for a ball. Diaz is a youngster. He's only 22 years old. He's got a whole future in front of him. Why the White Sox want to get a look. It is already his 6th professional season. Started in 08 with the Rangers in the Fall League. 2-ball, 2-strike count. And that's outside. So again, a 3-2 count in the inning with the bases loaded.
And you can tell how frustrated he is, because the last 2 pitches, the illusion you want to have to a hitter is that it's going to be somewhere close to the zone, and neither were those type of pitches. So they were automatic takes out of his hand.
3-2, 2 down. Runners go again, and a ball sliced foul. They'll go back.
And then what happens, and we saw this with Diaz, a little different hitter, because he was hitting 295. Second year, good hitter. This is a kid you didn't want to go to 3-2 because there's no place to put him. You can't. You may end up doing it, but you can't aim for the corner here because you're just not hitting it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this trouble.
Gillespie Danks, Diaz is set to go. 3-2 delivery again. They're running, and again it's going to be foul back. So Garcia putting up a battle here. Going to be at least 8 pitches in this at bat. 3 ball, 2 strike count.
And you think the defense would really be kind of shifting. Adam Jones kind of looking in at Wayne Kirby because McLeod playing in, but pretty straight away and left.
And the 3-2 delivery again, and he got him. So Norris will get the strikeout, his 6th. He actually strikes out the side here in the 4th inning, but the White Sox will get a run. They pick it up on 4 hits, and they leave the bases loaded. Shoulders and some big whiffs in this game. Bud Norris, Andre Rianzo, the starters, and for Norris, 6 strikeouts. His high this season with the Orioles is 8. He's gotten them on the fastballs up, the breaking balls down. Fastballs again struck the side out in the 4th inning, even though the White Sox would add a run on 4 hits, and it's a 2-0 White Sox lead. Word today from the Red Sox, Clay Buchholz now is ready to come back, they say, and he's at least looks like a pencil-in start for Tuesday against the Rays.
Yeah, I think he threw something like 72 pitches, had a pitch limit of 75. Did not get 4 innings in, but the velocity was there, the command was there,
and they want him.
Yeah, and why not? He was 9-0. ERA of under 2 runs a game. Hasn't pitched since June 15th, and yet the Red Sox are playing at the level they are. Remarkable.
Here is Adam Jones, struck out his first time up, and Adam will take the pitch inside for a ball. Bottom half of the 4th inning. Ball game like the first 3, where the pitchers are dominating early in the game and have gone on to dominate late. Ball put up in the air, deep center field. Diaz back of the wall. Goodbye, home run. Adam Jones gets it out over the center field wall. Number 31 and RBI number 101.
Well, that's about as good an adjustment as you can make. It wasn't a whole lot different than the pitch he struck him out with. Except this time he looked down and away and smoked it. I mean, this is not a bad pitch. Look where this ball is. I mean, it's outside part of the plate. You could see maybe you have outside middle, but down, and then just strafes it to straightaway center field. And
so Adam continues his great year, one of only 4 in the American League with over 100 RBIs, and he is 4th. Here's Nate McLeod. He'll put it up in the air to left. Visaedo will settle under it, and McLeod with a couple of fly ball outs, and there are a couple, one down here in the inning. Buckle back up as the Orioles host the Yankees this week on Tuesday. Don't miss Ollie's Bargain Night, presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet. Every Tuesday home game, all upper reserve seats, only $9 in advance. Back the Birds in the hunt for the postseason. 888-848-BIRDS or Orioles.com. Matt Wieters grounded out his first time up. Jones picking up that 31st home run of the season. Right up there among the leaders in that department, as he's now tied with Trumbo of the Angels for 4th in homers. And that pitch is there to Wieters for a strike.
Yeah, I don't think you want to play the Angels this time of year. They've won 12 out of 15, and so if you get them down the stretch.
What a disappointing year for that ball club. Yeah. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and the pitch will be taken away. And Wieters, who grounded out his first time up, ahead on the count 2-1. As the Oriole fans settle back in after the long ball, number 193 for the Orioles. Taking a time there, Andre Rienzo stepping off on the mound. And that pitch is going to miss. So Rienzo falls behind on Wieters, 3 balls and 1 strike.
Now, you talked about all the walks, or at least the propensity to walk people. 3-3 his last 2 starts. It's not only walks, it's what kind of counts you get into. And this is one of those hitters' counts.
Wieters up the middle, nice fielding play. Rienzo just got that, or it would have got him. Lob toss over to Keppinger to retire Wieters.
Take a look at the night and day and night, whatever you want to talk. This is where the Orioles are in day games. We hope that certainly comes to fruition today as they trail 2-1. Night games, the numbers not as good.
Adam Jones has been the best average hitter during the day games of anyone in the American League. Came in hitting .363 in day games, and he's delivered a home run in 2 at-bats in this ball game. Here's Nick Markakis, grounded out his first time up. The pitch will be taken down low for a ball.
Yeah, get the feeling, and 1 home run since June 24th, that he's going to get into one. Get a pitch to hit. A change up.
That'll be down the line and curving and foul.
Well, there it is. Keeps it fair. It's a home run. Tries to speed up the bat with a change up at 84. Just drops the head on it. That's why the ball down and in. Everybody talks about most left-handed hitters are good low ball hitters. It seems like that may be the case, but all you have to do on the ball down is let the head of the bat go. Jim Presley looking on.
Nick hitting 283 here at home, 256 on the road, and 5 of his 9 home runs here. That ball the other way, fouled off, but he has been primarily a singles hitter. At one point a month ago, he was leading the American League in singles. Last time I looked, he was 5th. Still pumping out a .269 average. And as Jim Presley noted the other day, some hitters feel they're struggling when they hit .220. Nick feels he's struggling when he hits .269. Flip will be made to Rienzo covering. That'll retire the side. The Orioles a run on a hit. Adam Jones picking up his 31st home run of the season, and the Orioles make it a 1-run ball game. Bank for the achiever in you. Unfortunately for Aberdeen, in that short 3-game series in the postseason, Tri-City shut them out 3-0, and Tri-City moves on as they take both games of that series. Aberdeen eliminated Hunter Harvey. No runs, no hits over 5 in that game. But Tri-City able to get those hits with runners in scoring position where Aberdeen could not, and they won it. What a great season.
And then Hunter Harvey, when you start looking at future prospects, the Orioles #1 draft choice, so good to see him pitch well.
Here a 2-1 lead for the White Sox. Bud Norris back to work against Ramirez, who has singled. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Dunn and Keppinger will follow. The Orioles trying to extend their win streak to 4 if they could get a victory here today. The Orioles have not won 4 in a row since the middle of July, when they had a 5-game win streak.
Which is the season high, I believe.
Which is the season high. The longest this season, a 5-game win streak. They've had 2 4-game win streaks. You compare that to last year, when the Orioles won, of course, 93 games. Even last year, they had only 1 6-game win streak, but they had 5 5-game win streaks. And they've not done either of those this year. Pitch had taken as he just stepped away on that one, and it's 3-1 to Ramirez.
You know, you get in a position when you fall behind like that, you just have to get back in the count. You got to trust your stuff. He's had a really good fastball.
Ramirez, a base hit into right field, just sliced that one the other way. So the leadoff man on for the 2nd consecutive inning for the White Sox. Fan Appreciation Week begins on Tuesday, September 24, when the Orioles begin the final homestand of the regular season. It'll be against the Jays and then finish up against the Red Sox. Don't miss an inning of great excitement. The battle for the postseason engaged, so buckle back up. Get your tickets in advance and save at 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com.
Yeah, that homestand right after going to Toronto for 3, Boston for 3, Tampa.
Runner going and no throw made.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You got the best, or at least one of the best throwing catchers. You got to give him a chance. That is number 30. Stolen base number 97 for Alexei Ramirez. Well, he gets on, and I mean, if you're Robin Ventura, you're a skipper, you go, you got the green light. Steal when you want.
So against Norris now, base stealers successful 15 out of 20 times. And now another RBI chance. Dunn has struck out twice. Not this time.
Wow.
Way back. And goodbye home run, Utah Street. Here I come. Dunn delivers the long ball. It's good for 2 RBIs and a 4-1 Chicago lead.
Well, Bud Norris has thrown 2 changeups today. 2. 1 for a double and 1 for the big fly. As the way he's swinging, I can't imagine why you would ever think that this was going to be a successful pitch. He's been late on sliders, late on cutters, late on fastballs, right on time on that changeup. And boy, did that go a long way.
High and long. So Adam Dunn delivers an important home run ball. That's his 31st, RBIs 80 and 81. Brings Ramirez in ahead of him. And the White Sox now 4 runs on 9 hits against Bud Norris. Keppinger a double, and he is grounded out. Takes the pitch for a strike. Count goes to 0-2. The Orioles bullpen active again. Second time up for McFarland. Pitch count up to 96 for Norris. 0-2 delivery. And that'll be outside, 1-2. So the Orioles have hit their 193rd homer in the ball game, with Adam Jones getting that. Surrender their 176th home run. And the 1-2, that'll be fouled into the seats to hold the count.
Yeah, I learned my lesson about speeding up bats. I was playing for Cal Ripken Sr. We were down in Sarasota. I was playing in the instructional league, and Dave Swish Nicholson. I threw really hard. I throw him fastballs. He swung when the ball's in the glove. I figured good time to throw a changeup. That's the kind of ball that I threw. A towering blast to left field. And when I came in, Cal Sr. said, was he hitting your fastball? And I said, no. He said, how about the changeup? did that go far enough? And I go, yes, it did.
Line drive to short, and it'll be hauled in by Hardy. Keppinger retired.
So you have the moments, and I know Bud Norris didn't try to throw in the middle of the plate, but when you do speed up the bat. And here comes Buck Short. It kind of happened with Tommy Hunter yesterday. He threw a ball by Gillespie, and then the slider speeds up the bat and almost had a winning home run. But one of those days where it's not like he had bad stuff. It just was all over the place.
So he leaves just 4 1/3 innings with the 4 runs on 9 hits against Bud Norris. McFarland on. To the bench, and the final line for him looks like that.
Yeah, the home run really hurts by Dunn, who finally gets it a little bit unwound, and so 100 pitches. Obviously didn't pitch like he wanted to, and T.J. McFarland will come on. Last pitch in the Cleveland series, pitched very well, a couple of scoreless innings. So here's your Rule 5 guy, 24 years old, right out of AA, AAA. Done a pretty nice job in his first year in the big leagues. You can see pretty average numbers against righties and lefties, but he can give you a little bit of length, and that was really important, especially before you expanded the rosters.
So here's Connor Gillespie up, and Gillespie will take the pitch for a strike. He's already 2 for 2 in the ball game. He's got a 6-game hit streak, and against the Orioles this year now he's got 7 hits, 13 at bats, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs. And he will take the pitch for a ball from the left-hander. Now the Orioles rely on their bullpen and now hope for a comeback win with their bats.
Yeah, that's his job. When you talk about TJ, slam the door and wait for the offense.
That'll go to second base on a big hop to Flaherty. And there are 2 down in the 5th inning. McFarland making his first ever appearance against the White Sox team.
And he hails from the Chicago area. Obviously following the Cubs and the White Sox growing up.
And we'll bring up Viciedo with 2 down and the bases empty. RBI double in the 2nd inning for him. 2 RBIs for Dunn. Viciedo's got 1. Diaz has got an RBI single. Orioles have picked up the home run, a solo shot by Adam Jones. And the pitch is away. The Orioles have now homered in 8 consecutive ball games. They've had 15 home runs in the last 8 games, and in this series all solo shots. Pitch will be taken outside. 8 solo home runs in this series, and a 2-0 count. 2 down, nobody on. Viciedo reaches, and great catch by Hardy. J.J. Hardy timing it perfectly to record the out. 2 runs in, 2 hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Hardy with a little defensive help for T.J. McFarland. The White Sox have extended their lead to 3. The Orioles coming in hoping the Wings would be flying and that the series could be swept. A 4-game series. That's what they were after. Bud Norris making the start for the Orioles. His 8th start, 9th appearance. He would pick up 6 strikeouts and get a little help from Adam Jones with a long ball, his 31st home run of the year. But Dunn would deliver the 2 RBI homer that right now has extended the White Sox lead to 4-1. Andre Rienzo, the 25-year-old on the mound, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Much better control in this ball game than he's had in the previous starts. J.J. Hardy leading it off against him, and Hardy will take the pitch down low. Hardy flied out first time up. Flaherty, and then Roberts for the O's.
Yeah, he got the walks out in the first inning, back-to-back walks. Good pitch to Adam Jones, and Glauth the fly out, and that's been the wildness.
Hardy puts it up in the air to right center. Diaz is calling for it, and he will get there and put it away. Hardy's retired on the fly ball out. Time for our 5th inning home run bonus, and for this inning only, our Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game will get $500 for any Orioles home run here in this 5th. Paul Trobinger, you've already won $700 today. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. Brian Flaherty popped out his first time up. Renzo's pitch to him, and that will be taken 0-1, or 1-0 rather, as Flaherty gets the start today at second base, hitting .219. Tough to get him the starts with Brian Roberts in the lineup. Pitch away, and all the additional players the Orioles have added. So Buck Showalter continuing to try and keep his bench players active. So Roberts DHing in the on-deck circle. Here's the 2-0 delivery. Just missed.
Yeah, you really don't hurt yourself defensively. Ryan was one of the best Oriole hitters late June. Back in the month of June, really played about the last 2.5 weeks. After coming back from Norfolk at 10 RBI. So, and then Brian Roberts came back, and so right now your job, and you could see him right there, he gets very quick on fastball. Really good fastball hitter. Trouble with the off-speed stuff. Probably get another fastball to hit here, though. Yeah, but he missed.
Turned it over outside, and a 3-ball, 1-strike count. The Orioles need base runners, so if he can get on with a walk, he'll take it.
Gary, I watched him hit Friday. He hit every ball to left field. That was one of the drills. It was really impressive.
Pop that one up to the other side. Second base, Garcia. He's got it. And there are 2 down. When the Orioles win, everyone wins, and all season long when the Orioles win and score 5 or more, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com by entering promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, valid at participating Baltimore area Papa John's. 2 away, nobody on. Looking for a 1-2-3 inning. Brian Roberts, a double, and he is flied out, and he will take the pitch for a ball. Here's the 1-0 delivery, and that pitch will be taken for a strike. Brian wants to get on base here, but if he can continue the home run package he's put together against this team, he'll be more than happy to do that as well. Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to be in there for a strike, as Brian has had 3 home runs in 6 games against the White Sox this season. Brian finally got something other than a homer in that 3rd inning when he picked up the double. 1-2 pitch, and he puts that one in the air to right field. It is near the warning track, shading his eyes, and the catch made by Danks to the out. So the second time in the ball game, Renzo's retired the side in order. White Sox leading at 4-1. Sweep. The White Sox, though, have the 4-1 lead as they try and avoid that. And in the ball game today, watching Bud Norris, what'd you see?
Good stuff. Lack of command. We told you that they win when they're here, and it's not that he's pitched well because his ERA was over 7 runs a game. They score a lot of runs, so it looks to me they're going to have to do it again. Now, he may not win the ball game, but obviously the Orioles have a great offense. Jim Presley, kind of interesting. He said, listen, when you talk about Rienzo, he said, stuff is so-so, and he does walk people. He said, I'm worried more about the back end of the bullpen. So you want to get something going in the next couple of innings, but it all revolves now around T.J. McFarland and the Oriole bullpen.
And the Oriole bats have been so hot here in this series. We'll see whether or not they can pull out another comeback win in this game against the White Sox. White Sox bat against T.J. McFarland as we go to the 6th inning. And Jordan Danks watches that one go in there for a strike, and the count goes to 1-1. Danks has singled and flied out. Yankees leading the Red Sox midway through their ball game 3-2. Lester's given up 3 runs, 8 hits over 5. Kuroda 2 runs, 5 hits over 6. Kuroda, though, has already thrown 117 pitches in that ball game, and
that's going to be the problem. And we saw it even in New York last Sunday when Pettit had to leave. A couple of singles with a 3-0 lead. Orioles had a 7-run inning. Pettit leaves his last start with an 8-3 lead. Their bullpen, talking about the Yankees couldn't hold that lead either.
Bullpen with a lot of new faces. 3 ball, 1 strike count. McFarland's delivery to him, and a good off-speed pitch that he had him out in front of. And Danks with a 3 ball, 2 strike count. Anderson and then Diaz at the top of the order are due up for the White Sox.
Yeah, what they like about T.J. McFarland is what you just saw. 3-1 fastball count, threw a little breaking ball.
And a fastball to get him.
So 89 seems like it's much firmer than that because of the breaking ball that preceded it. Left-handed guy, probably not comfortable anyway. Thought he was going to get a fastball 2 pitches ago. He didn't get it. And now he does get one. Watch this ball sink. Young hitter chases ball 4. But that's part of what he got pitched to a little bit.
So McFarland, who will be in a position come next year to think about being a starter, because the Orioles are. Here's Anderson, and the pitch is on the inside corner for a strike. Anderson has flied out and struck out the White Sox catcher. 4-9-0 for Chicago. 1-2-0 for the Orioles. Rienzo holding the Orioles to the home run by Jones and the double by Roberts for the only hits thus far in the game. Foul tipped and a 1 ball 2 strike count.
Man, you talked about how Robin Ventura, because of the numbers, as we look at Jason Hamill, ready to pitch out of the Oriole bullpen if so needed, but how he stacked the lefties in there because of the home run differential. So we see it time and time again, either against the Orioles or for the Orioles. You try to neutralize the middle of the lineup in the middle innings and then get back into the game, and that's what Buck hopes that TJ can do.
Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and he came back inside and got him. So McFarland, a couple of strikeouts here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, what all lefties try to do is cover that outside corner with 2 strikes and watch this ball sink. So they think they can get to it. Nate McLouth was talking about it. A lefty, they can 2-seam the ball in and underneath the bat can be very effective.
Diaz with real good numbers against lefties. 310, 253 off right-handers. Diaz stands in, a base hit RBI in the 4th inning. He's had a 1 for 3. A couple of hits and 12 at bats in the series. The Orioles trying to pull off the sweep. The last time the Orioles swept in a 4-game set, you got to go back to 95. And the Orioles had a 4-game sweep against the White Sox. That was in Chicago. That'll be played on the hop by Flaherty, and T.J. McFarland as a sweep inning. A clean one to retirement order. The Oriole bats coming up in the 6th.
Swept. Iseedo with a double up the gap. The White Sox get a 1-0 lead. And right here, hot shot. Flaherty gets to it, can't find the handle, and Diaz will give him the second run. And then after a strikeout, Adam Jones torches one. 31st home run. It's the Orioles back in the game. It's 2-1, and then the changeup with a runner on. You can see the hands on Bud Norris's head. Second changeup, one went for a double, one went for a 2-run home run. Norris leaves, really battle. You can see the 6 strikeouts. Didn't have great command. Rienzo still in the game. Couple of walks, those both in the first inning, and since then it's been pretty good. And that is your Geico highlight, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
Manny Machado leads it off for the Orioles here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Manny has hit into a fielder's choice and has drawn a walk. 1 of 2 surrendered by Rienzo in the ball game. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and that one is going to miss inside. 25-year-old right-hander, 8th major league start, 6 of them on the road, and in this one he's probably looked as good as he has in any of them. 1-1 delivery, and that's down to third. That's a fair ball. It'll head into the corner. Iseedo going over to get it on his way to second base. He will stop there and chalk up another one. Another double for the Orioles as he again retakes the major league lead with 48.
Yeah, Andre Rienzo, the last time, Manny torched one, but Gillespie flagged it down before it gotten left. This one, that was to his left, and this one to his right. No chance. Right over the bag, hit hard into the corner. So the Orioles want to get Rienzo out of the game. They want to get on the board. They want to make Robin Ventura get that bullpen up.
Orioles get just their 3rd hit. They've all been extra base hits, 2 doubles and a homer. Chris Davis has walked and struck out. Davis lifts it, second base. There's the out, and back in time is Machado as Garcia hauls in the line drive for the first out of the inning, and Davis is 0 for 2.
Well, Larry Garcia, he might have gotten hurt if he didn't get the glove up. A couple of hard hit balls here in the 6th, but one of them right at the second baseman.
Bring up Adam Jones. The Orioles 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position today. Now just 3 for 30 in the series.
And yet they've won 3 games.
Here's Adam Jones, but don't keep doing that.
No.
He has struck out and a homered. Jones with the 31st home run of the season. And Adam will take the pitch in the dirt, boxed by Brian Anderson. Machado stays at second base.
All you do is text Joe Madden. He'll tell you about rookie pitchers. James Paxton, in his major league debut, beat the Rays out in Seattle last night. A couple of runs over 6 innings.
1-0 count. And inside to him, tied him up. They do go to first. Tom Davidson, did not go around. Adams now had 16 home runs here at Camden Yards and 15 on the road. You can't divide them up much better than that.
Yeah, still one of the more amazing numbers as you look at David Percy. It was when Brady Anderson hit those 50. He hit 31 on the road and only 19 here. One of those exceptional years. A lot of home runs on the road that year.
2-0 count. Adam will foul that one back. Adam right now is 11th in the league with runners in scoring position with that .335 batting average. The Orioles needing yet another comeback in this ball game against a White Sox team that is always on knife's edge in these games, because not much has gone right for them. Now 21 and 31 in 1-run ball games, losing the 4-3 ball game to the Orioles in extra innings yesterday.
And then 27 games under 500 when they play in the gray uniforms on the road.
2-1 delivery on the way, and Jones will foul that back. Came in on him a little bit. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Well, you had one of the great curveball pitchers. He's sitting next door, and Steve Stone played for the Orioles in '80, won a Cy Young, 25-7.
He wasn't that good.
Yes, well, he was that year. He was really good.
1 year.
11 years, 11 and 6 the year before. But really
Just
good,
kidding.
really good in 1980. But he said Rienzo hasn't figured out if you can throw high fastballs and then throw that curveball, he can be very effective.
2-2 delivery on the way. That's taken away.
And that's what he tried to do. Because the fastball that Adam Jones hit to center field, it was down maybe a little bit too much in the middle of the plate. And he just skied it and it sailed right out of here.
Stonehenge, as he's known as, a dear friend, and we did day games together on ESPN, and it was one of the best summers of baseball I ever spent. Here's the 3-2 delivery and a swing and a miss as he got Adam on a pitch away, and for Rienzo his third strikeout.
And there's a fastball curveball combination. I mean, this is 12-6, right over the top, and it's a good one. You got a home run on a fastball. Nice little adjustment by the rookie. Can't really throw a curveball any better than that.
So there are 2 down, and the O's will search for the 2-out RBI hit in the person of Nate McLouth. McLouth has flied out twice in the ball game. 4 for 15 this season against the White Sox.
Yeah, the one number that Nate hasn't done a really good job of is runner in scoring position for him. One of those, most likely an aberrational year in the sense of 214 coming into this game. Which is low.
0-1 delivery is swung on and missed, and that'll take it to 0-2.
Well, the lowest batting average, and you tell you how good a curveball when Rienzo gets it over, about 52% of the time. 107. It's 1 out of 10. Yeah, a little bit more than that. Now that's a low batting average against a good curveball.
He's got an 0-2 count here. Off second base, Machado, breaking ball, and that's there, and McLouth knew it. Boy, Rienzo has looked tough in this one. 2 strikeouts in a row here in the 6th inning. No runs, leadoff double. Runner left stranded. It remains 4-1. Don't do it. It's a wedding. Don't do it. No. No. This is based on the standings currently for the wild card, with the Rangers down through the Yankees. SOS strength of schedule remaining. The Rangers, you see, 11 against the American League West. The Rays 13 against the East, including the Orioles. Orioles are 20 games remaining against the American League East. The Indians have 14 games. Minnesota, Houston, Chicago all involved in that. And then the Yankees with the 13 games remaining on the road as part of their schedule. So the strength of schedule, you take a look, some pretty tough games. The Indians, at least based on teams they're playing, would seem to have the least of the strength of schedule problems. But at this time of the year, you just never know.
Yeah, if you're playing well, you just play them out. And everybody said, wow, well, Tampa, boy, they got a pretty easy schedule. And they forgot to factor in they had to go to the West Coast. They still have 4 with the Rangers. So Hamill comes on. Good to see him back. Forearm problems. I mean, pretty much all year. Great start. 7-2 at one point in the season. So you can see lefties hitting him a little bit more. The big difference between last year, more home runs, and the fact that because of the forearm problems or whatever, he just wasn't able to get the ball on the ground.
So Jason Hamill is back, and the pitch will be taken for a strike as he works out of the bullpen in the top of the 7th inning. Yuri Garcia has struck out twice and drawn a walk. Shows bunt. He's got speed. Takes the pitch inside from Hamill.
You would think as his talking about Garcia's future proceeds, he's going to become very adept at bunting. If he doesn't, he's missing the boat. Yeah, he won't be playing anywhere.
Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way, and the pitch will be taken outside for a ball. Ramirez and then Dunn due up. McFarland came on, worked an inning in 2/3, gave up no hits, had a couple of strikeouts. Good job in relief again. 2-1 delivery by Hamill, and that will be taken inside. So a 3-ball, 1-strike count on Garcia. 4-9-0 for the White Sox, 1-3-0 for the Orioles. Another pitching duel, but the score different in this one. And he walked it. So Hamill returns with a free pass, and Garcia, the speedster, is on. Voting is now open at Orioles.com/fanshirt. So you can vote on the fan designated T-shirt to be the giveaway item Thursday, September 26th to the first 10,000 fans 15 and over at the Blue Jays game. 3 finalists have been selected, and the top voters going to get 4 tickets to the game, have their shirt printed and produced and handed out. Just go to Orioles.com/fanshirt. 3 pretty good entries right there. Here is Ramirez. Ramirez, a couple of singles, and he has scored a run and grounded out, also stolen a base. And Hamill concerned about Garcia over there. Last outing for Hamill, July 28 against the Red Sox. Gave up 3 runs, 6 hits, and 5 1/3 innings. July 28. Rehabbing and now back with the ball club for a couple of days, and as Buck Showalter told us when he came back, to be a couple of days before he was going to pitch, and indeed it has been.
Yeah, just get him used to the American League ball, actually the Major League ball. He used the same one. Used to use one that was blue in the American League, black in the National League. Now it's a uniform baseball. The one you made in, I believe, still Costa Rica, and then the one in the minor leagues made in China. And it has a little different feel, a little different seams.
Garcia, pretty good lead over there at first base. Ramirez 5 for 11 off Hamill. Wieters throw right there. Can't get any better than that, and he got him. I mean, that ball could not be walked down and placed in the glove any better than that throw from Matt Wieters.
Well, part of the equation is, do you get a good pitch to throw on? You know, Matt, you can see him. He'll turn almost sideways. He's quick. Not only does he receive it quickly, I mean, look how quick this is. It's not a great jump, but again, he gets a pretty good jump. Tall pitcher. Jason's about 6'6", and then, boy, he gets him the ball very quickly. Gets a fastball to throw on,
and that'll go to Hardy on the big hop. And Hardy gets it over there in time, and boy, that leadoff walk eliminated. Now Ramirez is suddenly 2 down, nobody on.
Yeah, John Hirschbeck did not have any choice but to call him out. I mean, he's looking on right here, the throw right into the chest. And then he did a little Bobby Grich, where you put the foot in, Bobby would just kind of put his knee, never get to the bag.
That's why it matters. That's why that coverage of second is so much more effective than side saddling and trying to sweep a tag back.
Well, I think a lot of infielders, it's almost like they think, well, I can get the ball a little bit quicker, but the guys that I played with, the Apparicios, the Belangers, the Hall of Famers, Gold Glovers, they just, very much like JJ, they just drop the glove, and you can't do that if you're in front of the bat.
You may get to the ball quicker, but the ball doesn't get to the runner quicker.
Right, exactly. And most umpires, if you catch the ball and drop the glove and it's bang bang, it usually, and I don't know why, goes to the fielder.
1-1 delivery. Dunn put one out on Utah Street, the 75th to be hit. 45 of them have been hit by opponents. Last one was June 28 of 09. Dunn's second shot out there. So you got that one back in 09. There have been 9 Utah Street home runs this year. 9 big fly balls. And a swing and a miss on that one. It was a 2-run homer in the 5th inning, his 31st. that extended the White Sox lead to 4-1.
Yeah, Bud Norris is he's going to kind of reflect back on this game, and he's going to say, well, I was a little bit wild, but the two pitches I made, the changeup to Keppinger for a double and the changeup to Dunn,
2-2.
Not the kind of what you want to do. And it's not that you wanted to throw him low and away. It's just, how are they swinging? You know, Dunn has not had a good series, but that changeup, he didn't miss it.
Dunn is 7 for 19, 2 home runs off Hamill. Hamill gets him this time. A strikeout record. It's only 3 batters faced. 7th inning stretch time here at Camden Yards. White Sox have the lead. The Oriole bats back to work. 7th inning stretch brought to you by Hyundai. New thinking, new possibilities. One of 4 against the Yankees. Chris Tillman will take the mound against CC Sabathia. Our coverage on Masson HD will begin at 6:30 with those extra presented by Geico, followed by our game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on Masson.
And take a look at what's going on. The Yankees, they really getting roughed up by the Red Sox after winning 7 out of the last 10. 2 of those against the Orioles. So they've been scoring runs. They've just been giving up a lot more. Against CC Sabathia with 17 lifetime wins. Nova, who pitched the shutout against the Orioles a week ago Saturday, and then Pettit, who pitched well but had to leave the game, and then the lefty David Huff that the Orioles have seen in years past. Tom in relief, but also starter for the Cleveland Indians.
Well, the fans settle back in here at Camden Yards. 4-9-0. The Orioles 3 hits, 1 3-0. And the Orioles will try for the comeback. Renzo here he just had an outstanding start. His first game against Cleveland, he worked 7 innings, gave up 3 runs on 6 hits. That is his longest outing in the 6 starts he's had with Chicago Ball Club. 7 starts rather. Ball Club's gone 2-5 in the games that he's been in, and he's been efficient, as you see. 85 pitches thrown going to the bottom of the 7th inning, which in this day and age is not a bad number.
No, and not that he got a lot of runs, but the whole key is you go out and you try to stay away from the big inning. He's been able to do that, and you try to pitch well and allow your offense, who's been struggling, and the White Sox with the least amount of runs. So again, he's been able to, and one other thing is he's been able to establish his curveball here in the middle innings, and we'll see how that turns out here in the 7th.
Guy who walked a lot of hitters coming in. 2 walks first inning, none since. He gets Waiters, Markakis, and Hardy in the bottom of the 7th inning. Matt has grounded out twice. 3-game hit streak for Waiters coming into the ball game, and Matt will take it for a strike. 32,042 on hand here today. 32,042, and they are seeing great ball game on a beautiful day for baseball.
Yeah, a lot of orange.
Right back here tomorrow night with the Yankees in. 0-1 delivery and a swing and a miss in the off-speed delivery to Waiters. Goes to 0-2. really funny yesterday with Buck Showalter giving Matt Wieters a day off, saying, before the game we were talking to him for our Fox broadcast, and he said, I really don't like to put him into ball games where I've given him the day off. So he said nobody takes a day off in the history of baseball better than Matt Wieters. He said he puts his feet up, he comes in late, turns on the ball game or whatever and watches, sits on the bench, doesn't bother anybody. So he's really out of the game. He said that's exactly the way I want it. He needs that. But then he needed him in the ball game, came up, got 2 at-bats, and of course the second one, a game-winning RBI. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Enzo gets it in. Wieters protecting, fouls it back. And it'll hold the count at 1-2. So the bullpen active, Matt Lindstrom, who appeared in the ball game, and Donnie Veal.
Yeah, Jim Presley alluding to the fact that Lindstrom really having a good year, and then you got Nate Jones, hard throwing righty, upper 90s, and then the closer Addison Reed, who they beat yesterday.
Lone save in the ball game, obviously, for Addison Reed.
And he doesn't do that. Doesn't do that very often.
2 ball, 2 strike count. And a topper. Anderson gets it. Wieters retired, 1 down in the 7th inning. Tune in to the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report tomorrow, 5 to 6:30. Tom, Dave, Mel, Phil, they'll have a preview of this 4-game series against the Yankees. Jim Hunter sits down with Nick Markakis 1 year after his season-ending injury. And take a look about Monday's starter, CC Sabathia, involved in that injury. That's tomorrow at 5 on Masson. And here is Nick. He has grounded out twice in the ball game. On the year now 8 for 16 with an RBI against the White Sox. Continues to have his best average against the White Sox of any other team that he plays against, hitting .342 coming into the game against Chicago in his career with 4 home runs.
And you can see Rienzo really trusting his stuff. 3-run lead really makes a difference.
That'll be in the outside corner
or somewhere in the vicinity.
And the count goes to 0-2. Orioles needing base runners here, and Rienzo's not cooperating.
No.
Here's the 0-2 delivery, and that'll be up high.
And how many guys do you get to see with a big overhand curveball? I mean, it is tight. You're listening to Chris Tillman and Rick Dempsey in the pre-game. He was talking about how Tillman said, I try to throw my fastball. It looks like my curveball out of my hand. And then what happens is the hitter, because of that, and that's what the good curveball does, you don't. But the bad one, it kind of goes up and then comes down. But the good ones, out of the hand, it looks exactly like your fastball. So very easy to change the swing planes of hitters if you can do that.
Count stays at 1-2. That one hit off Markakis, so he steps out to just take a break here, regroup. And the 1-2 delivery again to him. Nick to second base, hit hard to right at Garcia. And there are 2 down. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. 2 down, nobody on in the 7th. J.J. Hardy has flied out twice to center field. Hardy with a .238 average at home, .281 on the road coming into the game. 11 home runs here, 14 on the road. And Hardy will take the off-speed pitch, and it is in there for a strike. It's the 0-1. And that too is going to be a strike on the outside corner.
Well, he's got a little bit of play Buchholz in him, and because kind of goes left a little bit, and he very much like Buchholz, who started out 9-0 before the arm injury. He's making some great pitches. The last 2 fastballs right on the corner.
0-2 up the middle. He got one Hardy could go after, and a high ball hitter's not going to let that one go by.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if he got hurt getting out of the way. He comes out limping a little bit. 2 good ones and 1 bad one. Watch this bullet. Doc.
Any pitch up around the letters thou shalt not pass on if you're J.J. Hardy, and shouldn't. Now a discussion as to whether or not and when they're going to go to the bullpen as Ravi Ventura, the manager, got up. He's had the pen up there active a couple of times in the ball game. Bobby Thigpen, the bullpen coach, working as the pitching coach with Don Cooper not feeling well and away for a couple of games. And here comes the skipper.
Well, you can bring in the lefty, but you're not going to get Flaherty. I mean, you've got a lot of guys. You got Valencia, one of their hottest hitters, 18 for 32. You got Michael Morse. You got Casilla. You got all kinds of guys. So it's a little bit harder with expanded rosters to match up late in the ball game.
And a fine job by the youngster, their 25-year-old, in his 8th start. Renzo, coming out of the ball game, has got a chance to be the winner, get his 2nd major league win, depending on how the pen does. In this ball game, a couple of walks, got the pitchers under control. There's the line.
Yeah, he gets the White Sox. If you're Robin Ventura, where you can bring in the back end of your bullpen. Lindstrom's having a terrific year, but yeah, as the game progressed, he got better. And it's not just your run-of-the-mill offense he was getting out. There are the numbers for Lindstrom. He's been very, very good. And you can see almost a strikeout per inning. Like what we saw when he was with Baltimore, occasionally he'll get wild, but the windup, especially the front side, really important. When he stays pretty square to the plate, his stuff plays well. We saw 84-mile-per-hour slider the other day. Those numbers aren't particularly good. Inherited runners, and that's what the Orioles are looking for, but he was in the mid-90s. So the Orioles will get Flaherty to hit coming up for the 3rd time this afternoon.
So Lindstrom on with 2 down, a runner on at first base, and Ryan Flaherty playing at second base today, 0 for 2. He has popped out to second base twice in the ball game. So the Orioles try and mount a 2-out rally here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And to tell you where the Yankees are, they have the 3-2 lead over Boston in the 8th, and Mariano Rivera has come on to start the 8th inning of that ball game out of the bullpen for the Yankees. 1-0 count. He's not had a lot of success doing that last couple of weeks. 1-0 delivery, and that will be taken down low. 2-0.
Well, about 4 days ago he did do it, and the next night he came in to try to protect the 9-8 lead. The Yankees had come back from, I think, a 7-2 deficit, and the Red Sox would tie it in the 9th and then win it in the 10th. What did he say? We're going to do what you have to do, but boy, down the road, and yeah, it's only 20-some games, it will affect you.
2-0 the delivery on the way. Flaherty rips it. That's going to go into the corner. Making the turn is Hardy on his way to third. It'll be played back in by Danks. Here's the throw to second. Not in time. A double. And the Orioles will get the potential tying run to the plate on a 2-base hit by Flaherty.
Yeah, Lindstrom struggles more against lefties. They're hitting over 300, no home runs. But again, what's the count? 2-0. Great fastball hitter. He's shown that last year when he came up, Rule 5 guy, and then this year. He hits a rocket into the corner. JJ going to get into third base with a couple of outs and all the way to first base. So one of your leading hitters with runners in scoring position coming up in Brian Roberts.
Is this going to be a repeat of yesterday where the Orioles could not find that big late hit until late in the ball game, bottom of the 10th in fact? They've not had one of those yet in this game, as the Orioles are 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position today and 3 for 32 in the series. Brian Roberts has doubled, 1 for 3 in the game, 2 on, 2 out. And Lidstrom's delivery to him. Breaking ball that's going to miss inside for ball 1. For some reason, Roberts has not had an at-bat against Lindstrom.
Well, he really hasn't been in the American League that much, and then Brian's had the injury factor.
Brian's been injured when he's been in the American League. Here's the 1-0 delivery on the way to first. Ooh, the game of inches shows up right there as that just missed.
Well, Bob Davidson right there. I mean, this is another screamer. Already did it early in the game. And well, great vantage point right here. Right through. Nope. That was going to go through the legs of Bob Davidson, but he just hooks it foul.
So Roberts trying to bring in Hardy and Flaherty. The Orioles trailing 4-1, being out hit 9-5 by the White Sox. 34-year-old right-hander. 1-1's there for a strike. 1 and 2.
I think Brian thought it was a little bit high. It wasn't a real good breaking ball because it kind of hung. Well, at least it wasn't the third strike. That's the only good news about that call.
The young starter watching. See if the White Sox can hold the lead. 1-2 delivery on the way, and Roberts goes down swinging. The tag put on just in case. And the Orioles rally will end right there as they leave 2 in scoring position. 4-1 White Sox. The candidates: Adam Jones, who's had his 31st home run in this ball game. Adam Dunn, who's delivered his 31st, a 2-run shot that extended the lead. And the starter, the youngster Andre Rienzo, and worked to 1 run with 4 hits over 6 2/3. Text in your vote, A, B, or C, to 31826.
Yeah, we got all the notes. So that didn't look like the Andre Rienzo, who had allowed 12 runs, 14 hits, 4 home runs, 7 walks over his last 9 innings, did it?
Not today.
Not today. Very impressive.
Jason Hamill on for the Orioles, coming back from the DL to join the big club. Here's Keppinger to short. Hardy's going to have to make a tough play. Straightens it, throws it, and gets him. Good play by Chris Davis, too. He was off the bag, and he had to apply the tag to Keppinger, and he did.
Yeah, JJ, so accurate. Watch him get rid of this ball. So it's a shade high. So I think Chris Davis said, well, just in case Keppinger's maybe running a little bit better, Jason Hamill applauds because it's one pitch in and out. That's kind of what you like.
Will he win the Gold Glove at first base? Tough to do. Morneau, Smoke, and Davis over at first have been they were tied yesterday coming into the ball game in the fielding percentage at first base.
Well, Morneau got traded, and I can tell you, and it's nothing against Justin Smoke, but when you have the kind of offensive year that Chris Davis, people are going to notice.
Yep.
And I think sometimes it gets lost because he's been that good offensively, how good a first baseman he's become.
Yeah, he does. I mean, I honestly believe he deserves that just on his defensive play alone at first for a Gold Glove. He's been that good at first. Gillespie with a 1-ball, 1-strike count, 2 singles, runs scored. He is grounded out. 6-game hit streak for him, and knocked down by Davis. Played by Flaherty. Hamill covers, and they got him. Oh, mercy! How about that? Little ping pong played right there, and effectively so to get the out.
Yeah, even when he doesn't catch it, he deflects it over to Flaherty, who's been all over the place this afternoon. Great range. You know, he's going to his left, and then he has to come in. So at least he's heading in the right direction. All right, here he comes, and then nice play by Jason Hamill. Makes it look pretty easy because he does what you're supposed to: cover the base on balls to the right side.
Ooh.
So there you go. Long arms, nice little target, and to get the foot out of the way, which he does.
And again, credit Bob Davidson. Naked eye, that's one tough call. He had it right. And there are 2 down here in the 8th inning. Great play as it goes 3-4-1. When's the last time you put that in your scorebook? Visaedo ground ball to the hole, not this time. And Visaedo's on with a base hit, and he continues red hot, a 2 for 4 as he gets the single. Join O's manager Buck Showalter and his wife as they once again team up with the Kids Piece for the 4th annual Kids Piece Trick or Treat 5K run and 1-mile walk. It's Saturday, November 2, right here at the park. You can dress in your favorite Halloween costume, enjoy a finish line on the field at the ballpark. Proceeds benefit children in foster care in Maryland and Washington, D.C. For more information, OriolsReach.com or KidsPiece5K.org. Buck and Angela will be involved in that here at the ballpark. And a swing and a miss as Danks went after it. Runner at first, 2 down.
You're getting the ground balls. And one thing for Jason Hamill last year, he was so good as getting the ball on the ground early counts. And then this year with the forearm problems, never could quite seem to locate that outside corner as often as he would like.
Slash the other way foul. Both bullpens active. There you see Leesman, Axelrod for Chicago.
I think those guys are probably just throwing on their own.
And there's Troy Patton for the Orioles.
Both of those guys are more middle of the game type guys, so maybe just trying to get some throwing in.
0-2 count with 2 down. Visaedo at first base, and the pitch taken. Indians tied with the Orioles, 1 game out of that second wild card spot. Tied with the Mets, 8th inning. Matsuzaka for the Mets, a run, 3 hits, 5 2/3. Salazar for Cleveland, 4 innings, 1 run, 1 hit. They are both out of there. 1 ball, 2-strike count on Danks. Not a big lead at first for Visaedo. And the 1-2 delivery will be on the ground to second. Flaherty moves in front and records the out. So with a little help from the D, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Orioles need the bats. Bottom half of the 8th coming up. Brought to you by Miller Lite. In this ballgame, 5th inning, Dunn got the pitch he wanted. It's either a home run or a strikeout. That's the way it's been today. Out on Utah Street. 31st of the year, good for 2 RBIs. Extended the lead to 4-1, which is where it stands right now. So the Orioles 6 outs to work with as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Machado, Davis, and Jones will be due up against Matt Lidstrom. On the mound out of the bullpen, came on to get the final out 7th inning after surrendering the double. And he'll get the pitch on the inside corner. Machado with a double, fielder's choice, and has drawn a walk.
It came in 188 in the month of September with a home run, but today the walk and then 2 other balls hit very, very hard.
We'll take that pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Base runners needed. Orioles have been able to pick up only a couple of walks in the game. Only 2 for the White Sox today. 1-1 delivery. Manny Machado on one that was breaking away, cued off the end of the bat.
Now righty's only 243 off Matt Lindstrom, and that's the pitch. I mean, he throws hard, 95, mid 90s, but that slider can be very effective.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Lindstrom's delivery, and that'll be way up high as that one got away from him. And the count will go to 2-2. Now working in the bullpen for real again, Veal and Jones.
Yeah, Jones, he had 97 yesterday.
Two balls, 2 strikes from Matt Lidstrom, the former Oriole. Ground ball to third. That one hauled in. Gillespie's throw off the mark. Threw it away in an extra base. Think it went into the seats. So the Orioles will get Manny Machado on to lead off the 8th inning. And Machado kind of slowly maneuvering down there at first.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he ran into Keppinger a little bit. Did he hit him? No, I think he just stumbled over the bag and trying to air it out down the line, and right there, I don't know if that's, I think he just trips a little bit, and then he goes down and goes over the bag. Not sure if he ever touched it.
Machado will go to second base. It will be an error all the way around charged on Gillespie, and the pitching change. Lindstrom coming out of the ball game, and hopefully Machado is going to be okay down there at second base. Eight-year-old left-hander Donnie Veal.
Yeah, he'll turn 29 in September. Originally signed by the Cubs and with the Pirates, Tommy John surgery, so he's done a nice job. I mean, the numbers look high, but you can see he gets righties out. In fact, he got righties out last year for the White Sox better than the left-handers. You can see the 3 home runs. Average not bad at all. Scoreless streak was snapped after he allowed a Granderson to score, and then Nunez would get him in against the Yankees. But very, very good. 3 for the last 23, which is right around 130 since the beginning of the month of September. So done a nice job for him.
And here's why left-handers are used so often against the Orioles. This is the matchup. Chris Davis coming to the plate. Chris hitting .239 off lefties, .330 off righties coming into the ball game. He's got 13 home runs off left-handers, 13 of the 48. So Davis with a runner at second base and nobody out. And the big swing and a miss. Time for our AT&T Mobility trivia fact. Chris has 87 extra base hits, on pace for 100. The O's record, extra base hits in a year, 92 by Brady Anderson, set in 96.
Yeah, 4 pitch pitchers, Donnie Veal. Curveball, slider, changeup, and fastball.
0-1 delivery to Davis, and he went. He could not hold up on a breaking ball. It was outside and in the dirt, and a 2-strike count.
Yeah, he is a big guy when we talk about Veal. I mean, well over 6'4", well over around 225, 230. And when he came up through that Cub organization, he was a starting pitcher, but he's evolved to being a specialist.
2-strike count with nobody out. Machado off second. And Davis again reaching, gets the tip and a foul ball to keep his at-bat alive. Orioles now with 5 hits in the ball game. The White Sox have doubled them up on hits, 10-5, and have the 4-1 lead. Veal working as the Orioles attempt at a 4-game sweep, coming down to the need for a comeback win. (0-2). Davis started, holds up. Ball and 2 strikes from the left-hander.
So you can see a pretty good fastball, 94, and he's kind of short arms. If that means where your arm pretty much close to your chest, and then not a lot of extension, but certainly good stuff.
Veal the look, and a 1-2 coming. Davis fouls it back, and he's still alive at the plate. Well, the Orioles have taken the first 3 games of this series. As we've said, these games have been tough. Extra inning ball game yesterday, great pitching duels, and this one is no exception. Orioles have the 4-2 edge in the season series, but want this sweep, want this game being won out of that wild card. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Davis chasing the off-speed pitch.
Yeah, he really makes a good pitch. You see the frustration for Chris. Well, a few times he'll ever really demonstrably show, and right there you can see. But this, again, it starts, it's like it's got to be a strike. This is what happens when you got to cover the plate with 2 strikes, and you can see how far he gets him out over his front foot. And then because Robin Ventura likes the numbers of Veal against righties, he allows him to be in there, even though he's got the hard thrower Nate Jones out in the bullpen.
So Adam Jones with 1 down and 1 on, with Nate McLouth in the on-deck circle. Veal's delivered to Jones. That will be up high for a ball. Adam delivering a home run earlier in the ball game. He has struck out the other 2 times. 6 strikeouts for the 3 pitchers used so far by the White Sox. 1-0. Jones in the dirt. Anderson a nice stop. This is the long ball put up earlier.
Yeah, fastball in the middle of the plate, and you can see September's been a very good month for Adam. And that's home run number 4 already. And it's early on. And Veal, of course, if anybody gets on, tying run comes to the plate.
2-0 count. Jones will take the pitch. That's going to be inside, so he gets ahead on the count. 3-0. On deck circle, you see Michael Morse. He would hit for McLouth, but we'll see. as the manager wheels are turning now on both sides. Jones has faced Veal only once, 0 for 1. 3-0. And I believe he'll take here and didn't have to worry about it. So the Orioles, for the second time, are going to get the potential tying run to the plate in this ball game. 2 on and 1 out. And Morse waiting for the announcement here that will bring him on as the pinch hitter. And for every Orioles walk this season, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 to support the Y of Central Maryland's Fit and Fun program. 358 walks, $17,900. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take a first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. With the announcement on Morse, here comes Robin Ventura to the mound. With all these bullpens available, it's a match-em-up game. And Veal has rarely worked a full inning in relief. He is a specialist who comes on to get the left-handers, and he got Davis, but he walked Jones. Worked an inning and 2/3 of the ball game yesterday, struck out 3 and had zeros the rest of the way.
Yeah, power arm. I mean, he can get it up there. I mean, up there 97, 98 miles per hour. You can see 83 strikeouts, 71 innings. Only 4 home runs. The lefties have hit him better than righties, at least long ball, but not average wise. He'll come in and you can see again herited runners, a little bit better number than Matt Lindstrom.
And Urrutia will be announced as the hitter for Morse, who never got to the plate. So Urrutia will come up with runners on at first and second base. Only 1 away. Morse got announced, so officially in the ball game, but never got the at bat. Urrutia did what he's done all season long. Came on as a pinch hitter in the ball game yesterday and punched one through the 5.5 hole. And they're going to give him that. Looks like they're going to give him that hole again.
Yeah, well, we saw when he first came to the big leagues, shortstops were almost holding hands with the third baseman. I mean, this is where he hits them. I mean, they do play Gillespie off the line a little bit more so than you would.
Urrutia goes towards the middle, second base, Garcia Ramirez, and that's that. It took only 1 pitch. Urrutia hits into the double play. No runs, no hits, an error, and a base runner left on. 8 complete. Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Hyundai. New thinking, new possibilities. Legends Park here at Camden Yards. Make sure you visit. See the great 6 statues that are out there, beautifully placed outside of center field. The Orioles will go to the bullpen again. Here's Troy Patton.
They hadn't pitched since the 31st of August, where he came in, gave up a home run, did not record it out up in Yankee Stadium. So he'll come in. One of those years where struggled early, then got back in. I mean, lately, not as good as he was in the middle of the season, but certainly a very capable left-hander. Very much like T.J. McFarland, he's got 3-4 pitches coming up through the minor leagues before the labrum tear with his left shoulder, his throwing arm. Was a starting pitcher, so he's got that kind of stuff.
Henry Urrutia will stay in the ball game in left field, taking over from McLouth, the Brooks Robinson Minor League Player of the Year winner for the Orioles, playing at both AA, AAA. And Patton goes to work. Here's Brian Anderson, the catcher, hitting ninth, is 0 for 3. Mariano Rivera has blown his 7th save of the year. Came on in the 8th inning for the Yankees, gave up a home run top of the 9th to Middlebrooks. The Red Sox have come back and tied the game up 3-3, bottom of the 9th inning in New York. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Anderson, Diaza, and Garcia will face Patton. Anderson, no at bats against a left-hander. He's a young catcher. It's a weak swing on that one from Patton, and a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Anderson, playing in just his 4th game, has had with the 3 at bats today, only 5 total at bats since joining the White Sox. 1-2 delivery, missed a little bit away. 2-2.
Yeah, it is a good opportunity with Tyler Flowers. Just had the shoulder surgery. Certainly wish him well. Hope he recovers, but he was their guy, and now I assume that shoulder will recover. At least you would hope so by next year, but somebody's going to be the backup.
Check swing, check at third. Nope. Jim Hoy. So the count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes on Anderson, and the top of the order coming up. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and he got him swinging.
Well, nice little breaking ball. And if you're going to be a guy that's going to get lefties out, can you do that? He did.
Patton gets the first out here in the top of the 9th inning. Diaz, a leadoff batter, an RBI single. He's 1 for 4. Dunn's had the 2 RBI homer. Viciedo the RBI double for the 4 runs the White Sox have up. The Orioles only run on Jones' home run in the 4th inning. Orioles and White Sox have both stranded 7 in the ball game. Diaz moves Machado in with the speed he's got, and will take the pitch for a strike. Addison Reed, the closer, who had the blown save yesterday. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery by Patton, whips that one away. Outside with it, 2 ball, 1 strike count. Diaza with the 3 hits on the season against the Orioles. He is 3 for 24 this year. 2 ball, 1 strike delivery to him, and a breaking ball, and that will catch the inside corner. 2-2.
Yeah, he was so looking fastball. I mean, his shoulders slumped when he dropped the hook off. And one thing about Troy, he can throw that breaking ball at 2 different speeds. So it's not only the break, it's the speed differential. And then tries to sneak a fastball by him.
Holds the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Billy Castro, pitching coach, former major league reliever.
2-2 delivery on the way, and just protected. Got a half a swing on that one, fouls it off. Count stays 2 balls, 2 strikes on Diaz. Well, the White Sox are just 3 outs away from ending their 9-game losing streak. The Orioles have 3 outs to try and extend their 3-game win streak. 2-2 delivery. Diaz chases, couldn't catch up to it. Patton gets the strikeout, and he's got 2.
Yeah, this time just throws it by him. So he gets back in the count with a breaking ball and a hitter's count 2-1, and then guns it right by him.
So Buck Showalter on his way out. As Patton gets it done, Steve Johnson will come on to work to Garcia with 2 down in the 9th inning. Page, 1939, Bob Feller became the youngest modern era player to win 20 games, as Feller got it on this date over the St. Louis Browns. He would go on to go 24-9 with a 2.85 in his rookie year. And in 1965, trying to promote Kansas City baseball, Bert Campaneris became the first major league player to play all 9 positions in a single game. Steve Johnson, here's Garcia, and Garcia will take it for a ball.
I'll take a look at Steve Johnson's numbers. This is at the major league level. The 1 star to Minnesota, real cold day. All kinds of physical problems after going 4-0 for the Orioles last year. And strike thrower. And coming off some really good outings at AAA Norfolk. But it's been a tough year just getting on the mound as much as he would like.
So 2 down, nobody on. Garcia has reached with a couple of walks, puts it in the air to center. Jones going back. He'll have it. And Garcia has retired a 1-2-3 inning. So for the Orioles, rebuckle, sports fans. The Orioles need some bats. They are down 4-1, bottom of the 9th. team tries to get it done in the bottom of the 9th inning. They beat the closer yesterday. They get another chance today.
Hey, Addison Reed, mid-90s, a nice little slider. That's what he got beat on. So he comes in. He had been really good, but Steve Stonehenge, as you affectionately call him, Stoney, he made a good point. We were talking to Buck Showalter in his office earlier on. He said, again, you have to understand, this is a team that's lost 9 in a row. Yesterday was the first time he had a meaningful appearance on the entire road trip. Couldn't get the job done because he's been that good.
So the Orioles will try and get him again. Bobby Thigpen, the pitching coach, acting for Cooper, who's not here today. Reed, 2/3 of an inning, 2 runs, 3 hits, and a strikeout in the ball game yesterday. He's had a little bit of everything against the Orioles this year. Reed has won 1, lost 1, saved 1. He's worked 3 2/3 innings, given up 2 runs, struck out 6. And Matt Wieters, the man who beat him in the ball game in the 10th inning yesterday with a 2 RBI single, will lead it off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. So here we go. 4-10-1 for the White Sox, 1-5-0 for the Orioles. Addison Reed's pitch, and Wieters going after it, fouls it off. Matt with an 0 for 3 today.
Yeah, Reed throws a lot of strikes: fastball, a slider, and a changeup.
Yankees threatening to pull within a half game of the Orioles for the wild card race. They won today, won on a wild pitch in the 9th inning. Ichiro scored. Workman delivered the wild pitch. So Boston's comeback in the top of the 9th thwarted. 4-3 final. Yankees over Boston. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Wieters. And that one's going to skip away off the plate to the backstop. 2-1. Orioles had a great chance in that 8th inning, getting 2 on, 1 out, trying to take advantage of the error, the 104th committed by the White Sox, but could not. Heredia hitting into that ground ball double play to end the inning. Here's the 2-1 delivery. That's outside, and the count goes to 3-1.
Well, he's only 24. And he had the rookie save record at 29 last year. So if you're Robin Ventura and you manage him, you put him right back out there. The Orioles are hoping that maybe he will have maybe a little different grip pressure.
And he walked in. There's one that the Orioles needed. They get the leadoff man on. And updating you on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game so far, Adam Jones on top. Still time to text in your vote, A, B, or C. 31826. Results coming up on the Ozark Strip post-game show.
Yeah, we'll see with the Matt Wieters, not much speed. Keppinger, no way he should be playing him on the bag with the left-handed hitter coming up, but we'll see how that goes.
Nick Markakis, an 0 for 3 in the game.
And then if you're an infielder, while you'd like to get a double play with a 3-run lead, you're looking for outs. Yeah, and Keppinger, can't believe he's going to play on the bag.
Markakis, a 1 for 2 off Reed. They will hold the runner. And Markakis will take the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Markakis and then Hardy due up. Reed set. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Markakis going to get a base hit into left field. And again, the Orioles are going to get the potential tying run to the plate. This time in the 9th inning with nobody out.
Well, all of a sudden now, one swing, this is going to be a tie game. It's a capability of J.J. Hardy. And this is just a BB. This is Nick Markakis just staying behind it. What are you trying to hit? The back of the ball. Did a great job of it there.
3 innings in a row. The Orioles have had the potential tying run to the plate. In those innings so far, they scored nothing. Here is Hardy. And it will be outside for a ball. Orioles are 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position today, and 3 for 35 in this series. And a timeout asked for by Anderson. He wants signs to the infield.
about 55% of the pitches Reed throws to righties are sliders. And there's one, and it hangs.
J.J. Hardy patient at the plate. Hardy with a 1-for-4 off Reed. And the count goes to 2-0.
Well, this has to be his pitch. You know, Reed would like to get him to chase something, a pitcher's pitch. But at 2-0, you can look inside half, look fastball, look up, look down.
2-0 delivery to him. Hardy will take it, and it misses, and the count goes to 3-0. Nobody warming up for the White Sox.
Yeah, Percy's not up. I mean, you got, looks like they're going to scurry around a little bit in their bullpen, but nobody up as of yet. And does he get the green light here?
Yes. 3-0 pitch. He'll take it, and it is in there for a strike.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're going to get a better pitch to hit. That was fastball inside middle.
Orioles trying to work some more magic. Came back to win the ball game in the 10th inning yesterday. Reed was on the mound, blew the save. He's on the mound again. 3-1 delivery to Hardy. Gets the strike as he reared back with a fastball, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, a lot of movement on that fastball.
Three-two, runners off first and second. Hardy fouls it back. True baseball fans who've hung around the ballpark for the last 4 days have really seen some baseball. And you wanted to be here at the end. There are the base runners, leaders, Markakis. 3-2 to Hardy, and they're loaded with nobody out.
Oh, he threw him. I think it was a changeup. Either that or a slider that he just choked and tried to get me over. And it wasn't even close enough to get JJ to go for it. And here comes Robin Ventura with nobody up in the bullpen. So this is just a, hey, I believe in you. Relax if you can. And get us some outs.
Orioles will send a pinch runner in. Alexei Casilla will come on at first base for Hardy. Hardy got the job done, working the count 3-2, fouling a pitch off, getting the walk off Reed. And a quick visit. And Ryan Flaherty will be coming to the plate. With a 3-run difference, the infield, of course, will stay at double play depth. 4-1 lead for the White Sox here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Yeah, and they play the line. I mean, temperature about a step from the, so they play Flaherty to pull the ball.
Flaherty puts it in the air. It is deep, but it is foul. Oh. To the back rows of the right field seats. Just missed a game-winning grand slam.
Well, he's looking fastball because Reed's not getting it over.
Watch Adam Jones.
Well, that might be your only fastball to hit. And he hit it.
0-1 delivery on the way. Flaherty will take it inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now you could see Anderson sliding in, so they certainly they know Ryan Flaherty's a fastball hitter. They know he likes the ball pretty middle, but not way in. And the one thing Reed really hadn't been able to do this afternoon is get the slider over.
1-1 delivery. Flaherty on a check swing, miss. 2-1. Flaherty's 1 for 4 with the bases loaded this season, and he's getting his first shot against Reed, the closer for the White Sox. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Flaherty will put it up in the air, foul, and it will even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rodriguez in the bullpen for the Orioles if this goes on. Flaherty's last at bat came against Cleveland on the 4th. 2 balls, 2 strike delivery on the way. Mercy, it's 3-2 again. Great patience shown in these at bats by Hardy and now Flaherty.
Yeah, and Reed really struggling with his command. Well, you think this isn't a predicament? You're not getting your breaking ball over. You're not commanding your fastball, and you have a dead red hitter at the plate.
3-2, nobody out. Bases loaded. Flaherty down to first base. It'll be played to second by Keppinger. They get the out. A run will score. So Flaherty will be credited with an RBI. They couldn't turn 2 on that. Leaders will cross. The Orioles make it a 4-2 game. Now have runners at first and third with 1 out.
Yeah, what an easy play for Keppinger because he's going to, number 1, catch it, and then number 2, make sure that he's able to get the throw to the right of the runner going into second.
So there's one of the runs the Orioles need. Now with 1 away, they turn to the top of the order. Brian Roberts, a double, 1 for 4 in the ball game. He is the DH. A pinch runner will come in at first base. Dickerson coming on to run for Flaherty.
Yeah, with the ability to steal a base, and for the White Sox, they don't care about the runner at third because that's only run number 3. They're concerned the guy at first and the guy at home, because that's the winning run.
Brian Roberts, his 9th game as a DH. He's hit well, 7 for 31, 7 RBIs as a DH. Double today. 1 down. Roberts goes after the first one and fouls it back.
Yeah, he's a really smart hitter. And, I mentioned this many times. So he's been sitting there and he's noticed that, at least to this point, Reed hadn't gotten a breaking ball over for first. And maybe that ball a little bit out of the zone, but very aggressive swing.
Petrushka's up in the bullpen, hustling. 0-1, 1 down. Runners off first and third. Roberts takes it. It's there for his strike. And Bryan behind on the count 0-2. Manny Machado waiting on deck. Roberts 0 for 2 against Reed. Markakis, the runner at third base. Dickerson at first. 1 run in here in the 9th. Here's the 0-2. Runner goes. Ball's going to be popped up. Dickerson may be out. Oh, mercy. It's going to be caught, and a double play will be made. Dickerson was running. He was at second base, and this ball game is over. Dickerson took off, did a head-first slide into second, did not know where the ball was. Garcia got it in foul territory, flipped it to Keppinger for the double play to end the game. And the White Sox come away with a 4-2 win, and the Orioles are not able to sweep this 4-game set. So the Orioles take 3 out of 4. The Yankees are coming to town. Join us for the first of 4 tomorrow. Chris Tillman takes the mound against CC Sabathia. Coverage on MASN HD at 6:30 with those extra, presented by Geico, followed by game action at 7. This has been a MASN presentation. For the Orioles, a sudden and disappointing end to this one as the White Sox win it by a score of 4-2. Jim and Rico's Extra, presented by PNC, coming up right now. For Jim Palmer and all of our crew here at Camden Yards, I'm Gary Thorne. Adieu.